Might have noticed big increases in your property taxes last year from Hancock and Morgan to Warwick and Fountain counties.
Over 16%. Again, this is unusual. It really is historic. There were many factors that helped contribute to that increase in residential values.
David Bodarf with the Association of Indiana Counties says high home prices in 2021 are to blame due to bidding wars over homes as well as record low interest rates at the time. The ACLU of Indiana is hosting its fourth LGBTQ Day at the Indiana State House. Speakers plan to address several bills introduced in this legislative session they claim push trans kids and adults out of public life. A man is in the hospital after being shot by Indianapolis police Sunday afternoon. The suspect tried to get away in a car, but then tried his hand at running, fired a few shots at police, and they shot back. Indy Metro Police found some evidence.
There were two guns recovered. There was one gun with an extended mag that was recovered outside the passenger door of the suspect's vehicle where the car crash occurred prior to the foot pursuit.
The second gun was found where the suspect was shot, says Deputy Chief Josh Barker with IMPD. Ascension St. Vincent is closing nearly a dozen more locations around the state. The hospital system saying the pandemic took an operational toll and will be discontinuing operations in places like Greenwood, Crawfordsville, Carmel, Avon, and Plainfield. And now with traffic, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Donnie, it's been an animated one. We are looking at Carmel right now, southbound Keystone Parkway at Main Street. That is a crash blocking the on-ramp from Main Street to southbound Keystone Parkway. The parkway itself is backed up to US 31, barely moving there. Northwest side still jammed up. Northbound 469, not Fort Wayne, after 71st up to 865 because of a crash from earlier. It has cleared. And we are looking at a crash from northbound 465 to westbound 74 on the west side. That ramp is open, partially blocked. East side northbound 465 still stop and go traffic before 70 up to Allisonville Road because
you don't have to go through
cleared.
Yet another year with that knee pain or back pain.
Traffic sponsored by Freegee and Freegee Auctioneers. Freegee and Freegee Auctioneers is holding the Midwest Construction and Farm Equipment Public Auction on Saturday, February 4th in Clayton. Info at FreegeeAuctioneers.com. That's FREIJE Auctioneers.com. License AC 312000002. I'm Matt Baer with Traffic on the Fives. Follow us on Twitter at WIBC Traffic.
Arthritis pain or lingering pain from an injury, don't let them operate on you and say no to the pain pills. Call QC Kinetics in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. See if their life-changing all-natural treatments can get you living your best life in this new year. I'm telling you, people right here in Indy are raving about these treatments, and appointments are available as soon as next week. Make 2023 the year you say goodbye to joint pain. Call QC Kinetics now in Eagle Creek and Greenwood, and coming soon to Carmel. Call QC Kinetics 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN.
And now the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
On this Monday, a winter weather advisory in effect until noon today because of some light freezing drizzle and maybe some light snow mixing in as well. Not going to get a lot, but could be enough to slick up the roads for the morning drive. It'll wrap up around noon. We're cloudy and falling temperatures through the day, a high of 30. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a low of 15. Tuesday, partly cloudy, should be bright, but chilly with highs in the mid-20s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
I'm Donnie Burgess on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Monday, January 30th. It is 7 minutes after 9, and you're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So the Association of Indiana Counties have completed their property tax study. Did you know they were doing a study? Well, they've completed it, and they found that on average, a 15% increase will happen in residential property taxes this year.
What? Can you say that again out loud, Casey?
They're going to see an average of 15% increase in residential property taxes this year based on this study.
Wow. So the taxes, the property taxes for the average person in the state of Indiana according to an organization that is their job to study property taxes, is saying that property taxes are going to rise 15% in the state of Indiana. That's what we're getting out of that.
Yeah.
That is so weird.
Why is that?
Because I feel like a year ago, someone said, wow, property taxes are about to skyrocket. And then I feel like our elected officials went, nuh-uh, you don't know that for sure.
Nuh-uh.
No one has any idea, Casey. No one knows for sure. No one could possibly know exactly how much they're going to go up. And you're just really exaggerating, and you're just fear-mongering, and you're just a shock jock, and you're just doing this for ratings, and you don't know anything. I feel like that's how it went.
Yeah.
And then I feel like, Casey, our elected officials who knew a year ago that property taxes were going to skyrocket because assessments were skyrocketing, and property taxes are based on assessments, did absolutely nothing other than be incredibly mean-spirited and angry towards me, and now the property taxes are about to skyrocket.
Yes, the assessors based property taxes on fair market value, recent sales, and construction costs. Now, they say that these factors were low interest rates and high demand for houses, and property on the market for just a few hours before bidding wars were happening. It's all part of the reason why your property taxes are going up. And they said that gross assessed value increased statewide across all classifications. This includes residential, apartments, agriculture, commercial, industrial, and even personal property.
There is no plan. There are people who have ideas, but as a party, and we are in week 4. So we are essentially almost a third of the way through the Indiana General Assembly. There is no cohesive plan to actually help you. There are individuals who have ideas to help very select groups of people or provide very modest help, air quotes. We'll talk about one of those in just a second. But the reality is nothing is going to happen this legislative session that is going to help you because the Indiana Republican Party does not want to help you. They knew about this a year ago. We were literally having people on this show write in with how their assessments were increasing. And basic math tells you that if the property taxes are based on the assessments and the assessments are skyrocketing, then people are about to get crushed with property taxes. But because this is what the Indiana Republican Party does, and this is why we tell you, you cannot just roll over and play dead for these people and vote for them because of the letter, they decided it would be more fun to get in a grudge match with a radio broadcaster because they don't like me because I have the audacity to come on here and tell you what's going to happen, and we don't kiss these people's ass, and we don't need to be their friends. They decided it'd be more fun to try to go after us rather than do the thing to help you. And now the thing is happening, and it's too late to actually fix the thing.
Minton County is where you want to be. It's the only county in the entire state that did not increase. But 4 counties saw an increase of 20%.
Exactly.
20%. Yikes.
Exactly. And look, the whole system is flawed. The whole entire system by which you are punished, because that's what taxation is, it's a punishment. It's a punishment for behavior, right? They're taking your money. You are punished because someone else did something. That's what they base the assessments on. What did the home in your area sell for? Well, I have no intention to sell my home. Doesn't matter. Your taxes are going up.
Your neighbor sold.
Does that make any sense to anyone? And this has been going on. The assessment process by which we tax homes has been going on for decades now in this state. And the Republicans here just look at you and go, well, it's a local government issue. What are we supposed to do about it? Well, the reality is the Republicans write the way by which we are taxed. They could fix this tomorrow. They could have had a study committee or whatever they call those things where nothing gets accomplished a year ago when the assessments were rolling in.
Oh, did you mention a study?
Yes.
Okay, well, the Senate Pro Tem Rod Bray said that in his chamber, they're more focused on the priority bill that seeks to form a state and local tax review commission.
So the head of the Senate is saying, look, we recognize now, he's not going to say this, but Rob Kendall was 100% correct. People are about to get totally crushed by property taxes, but instead of actually doing something about it, now we're going to form the committee, which if we'd have formed the thing a year ago, we could have entered the legislative session with a plan to do the thing. They fought and they fought and they fought on this. Seemed like every week I was coming on here talking about an interaction with some lawmaker who decided it was more fun to go after me and try to go, nuh-uh, you don't know that. No, we got to wait for the data. We got to wait for, when Holcomb needs $60 million for trails, they don't have to wait for data. When Eric Holcomb wants to give away free textbooks to everyone from the textbook ferry, they don't have to wait for data. When Eric Holcomb wants to expand socialized medicine in the state, they don't need to wait for the data. You know when they need to wait for data, which, by the way, it's too late to do anything meaningful now? They need to wait for the data when it comes to helping you. When it comes to growing government, they never need to wait for anything. But when it comes to helping you or limiting money to the Treasury, well, we got to wait for the data.
Holcomb said last week, we're going to get to the root cause of the increases that are occurring. Going to get to the root cause right after this commission that studies the feasibility of changing, reforming the property taxes for Hoosiers. So they're going to study it. They're going to look at the root cause, and then
so let's piggyback off that to somebody finally presented a plan. Somebody with some sort of gravitas or influence finally presented a plan. Now, this is according to Indiana Capitol Chronicle. Jeff Thompson, who I have the misfortune of him being my representative, because every conversation I have with that guy, throwing my head through the wall over there would be less painful.
He filed legislation.
Yes. And his plan, so keep in mind, let's say your property taxes are increasing 15%, and you are currently paying on a $300,000 home, which in central Indiana is by no means unreasonable. It's not a McMansion. It's a, modest middle income home in many areas in central Indiana. So let's say right now you are living in a $300,000 home and your home is capped at 1%. So you're paying $3,000 in property tax, or were previously paying $3,000 in property taxes. If your taxes go up 15%, and I am but a product of the public education system, but 10% would be $300, 5% on top of that would be another $150. So let's say your property taxes went up $450. This Einstein's plan is to give you $100 back, and then over the next 4 years, they're going to phase that out so you get zero back. You get less back each year. This is the gas tax thing. So Jeff Thompson is the head of Ways and Means, so he controls the money. So he's the first person with any sort of influence who's put a plan out. And Jeff Thompson's plan, if you're a person who lives in a $300,000 home, is your property taxes are going to go up $450. I'm going to give you $100 of that back. And then you're supposed to thank me because you paid $350 more in property taxes.
He did something. Yay!
It's the gas tax thing all over again, or the income tax thing all over again, where the Treasury last year collects $1,500 more per person than they need, $5 billion surplus, $1,500 more per person than they need. Their answer to that is we're going to give you $200 of that back, and you're supposed to pat us on the back and say, thanks for all you've done for us.
Thanks for giving me
the same
some
thing over
of my
again.
money back.
These people never change. Republicans do not like you. Republicans love big government and big taxes, and they're doing the same thing over again.
My favorite part of this article that you referenced in the Indiana Capitol Chronicle was from Todd Houston. He said there's a lot of uncertainty around property taxes right now. And then he said, our constituents are very concerned about this. You think?
They were concerned a year ago when they were calling this radio station, when they were writing this radio station, and we were doing segment after segment after segment of people giving us their increased assessments on the air. People have been concerned about this even before that. The idea that the government has some forever lien on your home and you never actually own your home is wholly ridiculous. The idea that you have property tax caps, but yet the school corporation in your community can violate those caps anytime they want is wholly ridiculous. The idea that because some guy down the street from you sold his home, you should have to pay more taxes is wholly ridiculous. The whole thing is a giant scam. It's always been a giant scam. It will remain a giant scam, but that's how it gets done, is through big giant scams that people can't opt out of because you got to have somewhere to live.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And as the week ended last week, the Republican National Committee, they reelected the same person. And we're going to talk about that coming up from 93 WIBC.
We filmed the show in Muncie, Indiana.
A painter with a perm who became a pop culture icon.
Hello, I'm Bob Ross. I'd like to welcome you to the joy of painting.
What you saw on TV is that's the way he was in real life.
And because his heart really was to love the people of Indiana.
You're invited on a tour through the past with the memories and moments from the Hoosiers who made the joy of painting possible.
And we all became friends with Bob.
The Joy of Muncie, Bob Ross in Indiana. Saturday at 1.
You don't have to go through yet another year with that knee pain or back pain. Hoosiers with chronic joint pain are getting real lasting relief from QC Kinetics. Tony Katz here, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. Their unique protocols use healing agents from your own body to target aching joints, repairing and restoring damaged tissue so you can move again with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. You got shoulder pain, excruciating hip pain. If you have any arthritis pain or lingering pain from an injury, don't let them operate on you and say no to the pain pills. Call QC Kinetics in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. See if their life-changing all-natural treatments can get you living your best life in this new year. I'm telling you, people right here in Indy are raving about these treatments, and appointments are available as soon as next week. Make 2023 the year you say goodbye to joint pain. Call QC Kinetics now in Eagle Creek and Greenwood, and coming soon to Carmel. Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN.
Do you get sinus infections? Congestion, sinus pressure and pain, above your eyes, below your eyes, sinus headaches? You've gone to the doctor, you've visited urgent care over and over again, and it's always the same thing. I know. Let's try antibiotics and nasal sprays. But the sinus infections keep coming back. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of Indianapolis Sinus Center called balloon sinuplasty. Imagine the relief of not having to deal with your sinus infections anymore. Set an appointment today with Indianapolis Sinus Center and find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Call 317-528-9650. 317-528-9650. That's 317-528-9650.
Every pro is an MVP to us. As a Lowe's MVP's Rewards member, you can earn bonus points when you shop select products and brands. Then redeem them for exciting rewards like tools, sports memorabilia, e-gift cards, and more. Join today to become a member and start earning. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any, subject to program terms while supplies last. Points expire at end of calendar year. Visit Lowes.com/MVP's bonus points for details.
Love. It makes us do crazy things, like being the first one to say, I love you, or adopting a cat together when you're more of a dog person. Celebrate the madness of love with the perfect Valentine's gift from Helzberg Diamonds. Right now, half-carat diamond heart pendants in your choice of white, yellow, or rose gold are just $399.99, a savings of $500. Show her you're smitten with the gift of gorgeous jewelry at our best prices of the season. Hurry, Valentine's Day is Tuesday, February 14th. Shop at Helzberg.com or visit a store near you.
Fellas, need an annual health exam for work or just want to start the year prioritizing your health? We recommend Low T Center to get your complete health assessment. They check all your levels, not just your testosterone.
It's typically covered by most health insurance, and if you don't have insurance, it's less than $100 for full labs and an office visit with the provider. Low T Center specializes in men's health, making it quick and easy. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment online. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
The new year is here. Time for a change. Start a recession-resistant new career in the high-demand IT field with My Computer Career. In just months. Already in IT? Build your cybersecurity skills and prep for thousands of open positions employers nationwide are desperate to fill. Attend classes live online or on campus. And financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill. Make this your year. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. That's mycomputercareer.edu.
Amber and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Over? Did you say over? Nothing is over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no!
German? Forget it, he's rolling.
Good morning. It is 22 minutes after 9. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
What day is it? What'd you go with?
Today's Arctic Monkeys Day.
Which means I won't know any of the songs we're playing as bumper music today. You're not playing any Uno Gold today.
No, I can do what I want today. I'm going to play Arctic Monkeys.
Oh, Kevin can do what he wants today.
You ever have that friend who is desperately in need of an intervention and they just keep going, no, I can do what I want?
Mm-hmm.
So while in reality you can actually do what you want, it's not the right choice for you.
Yeah. You think Kevin needs an intervention?
This isn't my only themed day for bumper music, so I'll have another chance.
Well,
he gets multiple
great.
days.
No, that's fine.
I'm building up to it.
Wow. Somebody put Kevin in charge.
You're in a band where you're so into the band that you are handing stickers to grown-ass men in the restroom
Yeah,
at
real
concert about,
real-life interaction with potential fans.
Yeah, versus the most powerful media outlet in the state, and we say, Kevin, here's your day to play your band. No, I'm going to play another band. Well, it's your day, Kevin. Good luck.
Arctic Monkeys are great, but whatever. If you say we need a whole day. Hey, let's get to some trending stories. TV anchors TJ Holmes and Amy Robach are leaving ABC amid their romance. You might recall that they were outed having an affair. They're the Good Morning America hosts, and they were put on temporary hiatus after photos surfaced of them, and now the network is saying, nope, they're out for good. In for good is Smokey Robinson. He's releasing a new solo album. It's been nearly a decade since he put out a new album, but he's got a 9-track album coming out. It's called Gasms, and it will be released on April 28th. And finally trending, Damar Hamlin. He is alive, kids. He posted to Instagram thanking his fans. It has over 500,000 likes, and he sounds like he's about to cry.
Now that my brothers has closed out a strong winning season, as I continue to make so much progress recovering, I think it's finally a good time to share a few things. I think it was important for me to wait and speak publicly at the right time, as it was just a lot to process within my own self, mentally, physically, even spiritually. It's just been a lot to process, but I can't tell you how appreciative I am of all the love, all the support, and everything that's just been coming in my way.
All right, so the rumors are put to bed.
That video was weirdly edited, though, wasn't it?
It was very choppy. Yeah, it was interesting.
And so here's the thing, and look, I'm not one of these people who believes this, but there are a large group of people out there who do. Until that dude stands up in front of, like, the press and answers questions, there are going to be people who are not going to believe he is alive.
Yeah.
And look, again, I'm sure that was him. I'm sure that he is alive. But that's a very weirdly edited video for clearly they are aware there are a large group of people who don't think you're alive, and then you're like chopping a video together. It was very weird.
Yeah. Let's talk about what's going on with the Republican National Committee. The chairperson, Ronna McDaniel, says that after winning her 4th term as the chair for the GOP, she won't be there for her 5th term. She said, this is my last term as chair.
I won't lose again.
Right. Well, she did win. She had 111 votes, ballots that were cast for her, and that was the majority that she needed.
Overwhelmingly.
168. So my favorite part was that Hermit Dillon, who was really the biggest contender, got 51 of the votes, but the MyPillow guy, he received 4 votes.
Yes.
4.
Hey, so we do have Ronna McDaniel basically saying that the people voted for her because they want to keep consistency. And so I would like to play this little piece of audio, and then I want to ponder what consistency they're talking about.
Well, I felt like I had strong support from the committee because they really want to keep the consistency of the things we've done, voter registration, election integrity, and they know it's such a pivotal time heading into a presidential election, so they wanted to keep that, but they understand we're going to bring change in too.
So what consistency would that be, Casey? Consistency of each election cycle being a worse loss or worse results than the one before? I mean, what? So they went with Ronna McDaniel, Kevin McCarthy, Mitch McConnell. They went with the same people before after another underperforming election cycle. And this is just proof that Republicans love consistently losing.
Yeah.
They don't care at all. I mean, it's like, can you imagine in sports? I mean, look, Jim Irsay's a goof, but the coach wasn't getting it done. He fires him in the middle of the season. Now he replaced him with the worst coach, but at least he replaced him. I mean, the Republican Party is about protecting the Republican establishment and the people who will carry the flag for their brand of government, which is big government and big cost and protecting their donors and their lobbyists above all else. It's the same. I have no idea why people give to this party. I have no idea why people cheerlead for this party. I have no idea why people have hope for this party. They just keep doing the same things with the same people.
She said she wants to go on a grassroots tour, and she would love if Hermit Dillon went with her. But she said, but they don't understand what the RNC does. Wow.
Well, whatever
Neither
it is.
do you.
Yeah, exactly. Hey. Here's the thing, though, Casey.
Yeah.
Not all hope is lost with the Republicans, though, because there was somebody very near and dear to my heart who suffered a big old loss over the weekend, and I was hoping maybe when we talk about that, we could talk about that when we come back.
All right, we've got to get to the news. It's 93 WIBC. Good morning.
Sweetheart, sugar, cutie pie. Love is sweet. Your Valentine's Day gift should be too. Visit Shane Company for unique fine jewelry. It's a great way to show your special someone how well you know them and that you love everything about them. With our amazing selection of colorful gemstones, why not select a style with their favorite color? We have natural sapphires in every color of the rainbow, rubies as red as a rose, topaz as blue as the sky. Or tell your love story with a charm necklace. Choose from dozens of symbolic charms. Get a zodiac charm because your stars are aligned, or a compass charm because you're on a journey together. You could also select an engravable style, like a beautiful locket or a gold bar necklace. We'll inscribe a message on it, a love note to your Valentine. At Shane Company, we have so many easy ways to make your gift more personal. For more ideas, talk to a jewelry consultant today. Your Valentine's Day gift will be a treat.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and Shaneco.com.
Hey, Janie. You know what one of my favorite things about high school sports is? Seeing young fans in the stands cheering on their community.
I love watching elementary-age kids wearing their team's colors, holding up homemade signs, faces painted, just full of hopes and dreams. I'm Janie Ulmer.
And I'm Brian Lewis. We're both assistant commissioners of the Indiana High School Athletic Association. We're also both former student athletes who were once those young fans in the stands, dreaming about wearing a jersey for our high school one day.
When you support high school sports, you protect the next generation's dream of representing their high school with pride.
And you ensure the invaluable learning experience of education-based athletics is available for years to come.
So buy a ticket to your high school's athletic events, because it doesn't just support today's student athletes.
It supports tomorrow's too.
This is investing in your community. This is protecting their dream. This is your IHSAA.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It's enough to cause an accident if you're not careful. 30 degrees in downtown Indianapolis. I'm Donnie Burgess. Here's what's trending at 9:31. You have a winter weather advisory until noon today. A light coating of snow and chilly temperatures could cause a few problems down the road.
And that could certainly result in some slick spots during our morning rush hours here this morning.
Meteorologist Jason Puma says temps drop even further by 5 o'clock today. High temperatures will hang around the 20s for most of this week. Your property taxes have likely gone way up. Kurt Darling reports on what the numbers say.
On average, you're paying about 16% more in taxes if you own a home. The reason, according to David Bodorf with the Association of Indiana Counties,
we had low interest rates and a high demand for houses. Everyone can remember the stories about properties going on the market for just a few hours before there was a bidding war.
That was back in 2021, the year that assessors have been basing their assessments in figuring out your taxes. Farmers are also paying about 16% more for agricultural land. Kirk Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And now for opening stocks, the Dow Jones opened 94 points lower to 33,883. The Nasdaq is down 109 to 11,512, and the S&P 500 is down 25 points to 4,044. I'm Donnie Burgess on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Planning for retirement all comes down to what matters most for you. Is it a vacation home? Is it traveling the globe? You could call the team at Howard Bailey Financial to help you plan for your retirement and to help you have a successful and fulfilling retirement. Great things in business are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people, and I'm excited to share that Singer Financial is now Howard Bailey Financial, an Indiana-based retirement planning firm.
The Howard Bailey team possesses credibility at both an ethical and professional standpoint. They will deliver you a customized framework that allows you to create the meaning of retirement. Whatever you visualize retirement to be, let the Howard Bailey team customize a plan specifically for you. If you're ready for your best retirement, come forward and see the Howard Bailey difference.
Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Working with Howard Bailey Securities, LLC cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
Hey, good morning. It's Casey, and let's talk about your retirement dream, right? You had plans to sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, travel, maybe go see the grandkids, but inflation and the recession has you wondering if all of your hard-earned equity is still going to be there. Well, here's a question. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in the home for as long as you want. And Truehold covers all of your property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do with whatever you'd like. So take that trip. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. It's the smarter, fastest way to cash out your home's value without having to move. It's Truehold.com.
World-changing question. Are you keeping as much of your investment gains as possible? High taxes can erode returns quickly, so you need a tax-optimized portfolio. At Creative Planning, our money managers and specialists work together to make sure your portfolio and wealth are managed in a tax-efficient manner. It's what you keep that really matters. Why not give your wealth a second look? Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Former Vice President Mike Pence said Friday that he had previously been unaware classified documents were at his Indiana home, but that mistakes were made and he takes full responsibility. Good morning. It is 9:35. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So he was talking out the Florida International University when he said, out of an abundance of caution, it would be appropriate to review his personal records that he kept at his home in Carmel. He said that he directed his counsel to fully cooperate in any investigation. Later told reporters, I welcome the work of the Department of Justice in this case, which is a good thing because now the FBI is looking over those documents.
Okay, so let's play the clip of Mike Pence doing the mea culpa, and then I'm going to ask you some questions about this because you're the voice of reason here.
Sure.
So I think it'll be best for you to answer these questions. Go ahead.
Now, while I was not aware that those classified documents were in our personal residence, let me be clear. Those classified documents should not have been in my personal residence. Mistakes were made. And I take full responsibility.
Okay, so on the surface, you would say, okay, that's nice of him. He's owning his mistake. That's a rare thing in Washington, so we'll check a box and a point for Mike Pence. However, and you know, Casey, I am a grudge holder, and, you know, I just can't let anything go. And I do remember back in, I believe it was November, where Mike Pence went on national TV, I believe it was ABC, and said, of course, he had no documents and there'd be no reason to have documents. And, you know, I want to think that Mike Pence would never do anything for political purposes, but I can't help but think he was doing that interview at that time because, well, Trump was vulnerable on the documents. So on one hand, we give Mike Pence a little check mark for saying, hey, we appreciate you coming out and taking ownership in this. But on the other hand, well, just a little bit ago, you were, well, I don't want to use the word smug or arrogant or phrases like holier than thou, that you didn't have any documents and you were totally dismissive of why there would be any reason. So where do we balance these out together,
Are
Casey?
they a wash?
Well, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you, because to me, well, now Mike Pence has proven, well, he's a person who can't really be trusted and really isn't being very honest with the American people. And maybe if Mike Pence runs for president, we'll talk about some other times Mike Pence wasn't very honest with the people of Indiana, but we'll save that. Right now, we're just focused on how can we trust Mike Pence if he was just so adamant that he didn't have these documents? It'd be one thing if he hadn't said anything or said, oh, you know, I don't know, I'm gonna do a thorough check and I hope there's nothing there. I'll get back to you. But he was very adamant.
He was very confident previously
I don't know,
that he did not have documents.
I'm not feeling very trustworthy. But where are you? Are you feeling trust? Are you feeling trust with Mike Pence?
No, I don't trust any of them.
Okay, all right, very good. Well,
and you know what is interesting? A few weeks ago, and I commented on this, where's Barack Obama on this? And I think you kind of maybe blew me off a little and laughed at it. But now the National Archives and the Records Administration has requested past presidents and vice presidents scour their records for classified documents going back to Ronald Reagan.
Oh, they want.
And I even said, "Where's Dan Quayle?
Yeah.
Where's Al Gore?"
They want Ronald Reagan to scour his archives.
Going back to him.
These people all have this stuff. It is only natural that if you are moving tens of thousands of documents, boxes, whatever, that's something that shouldn't be there. I mean, think about, again, when you move your own house. When you moved, did you know where everything was when you got out of your old home and into your new home here?
No, it's like Christmas morning, open the box.
Of course not. The problem is, well, there's two problems. Number one, Biden, Pence took this, again, holier than thou attitude about these documents. So no sympathy for them. And the Biden thing, the one that is most concerning about him is the Senate stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason that should have ever been out unless it was intentionally removed from a classified area, unlike vice president or president, where you'd say, okay, I could see this. The Senate stuff was had to be a deliberate action by someone, and then somehow they ended up in the hands of Joe Biden.
Yeah, well, when it comes to Pence, it's an embarrassment at the least. It's bad management. But with Biden, you got to wonder, okay, is somebody deliberately trying to undermine national security? Like, what is going on there? But let's go back to what we were talking about last segment, which was the Republican National Committee re-electing.
Boy, this is a shame.
Ronna McDaniel for her fourth term. She said there won't be a fifth term.
This story here, Casey, that we're about to do, I hate to do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. But we have an obligation to our audience to give them the news. And I hate to see bad things happen to
good people. Do you want me to give the news, or do you want
yes, please go ahead.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure I could fairly, because I'm so emotional about the story you're about to do, I'm not sure I could fairly deliver the content to the audience, and they deserve to have a fair deliverance of the content.
All right, here's the headline. Indiana Republican Party Chairman Kyle Hupford lost his bid for Republican National Committee co-chair in a third-round vote.
Well, that's terrible.
He got 76 votes, and Drew McKissick of South Carolina received 90 votes.
Yeah, again, it's one of those things where if it were literally Kyle Hupfer against anyone, so if it were Hupfer v. soured grape, I would vote for the soured grape over Kyle Hupfer. Of course, Kyle Hupfer is the Indiana Republican Party chair. He is Eric Holcomb's best friend.
He's been there since 2017.
Oh, yes. It's Holcomb and Hupfer share half a brain because if you put their minds together, you wouldn't have a full brain, but they share the half a brain. So the tax increases, the mask mandates, the Malik Muhammad meet and greet, the shutting down of society, all the stuff that we have come to love about the governor, we have to give credit to Kyle Hupfer as well because, as I said, they're totally joined at the hip. So having such reverence for the Indiana Republican Party and all the great things they've done for the state and the people, the past 5 years, I just hated to see Kyle come up a little short. But I'm sure he'll find his next highly paid gig. He is an owner, and I believe still, haven't heard that he sold them, but 30 plus liquor stores, and that conveniently liquor stores were allowed to stay open while barbershops had to shut down during COVID. I mean, I'm sure that was just a coincidence. So hopefully he's got something to fall back on. Yeah. Because his time as party chair is probably coming to an end with Holcomb's time coming to an end, and then he didn't get this political job, so hopefully he'll land on his feet somewhere.
His resume actually does look pretty good, so he probably went into that with a little bit of confidence because...
You mean arrogance?
Or that.
Conceit for his fellow man.
Well, you know what? Under his leadership, the GOP controlled every statewide office.
Yes.
They've got supermajorities in the House and the Senate here
absolutely.
in Indiana. He's got 9 of 11 federal seats and more than 80% of all county offices. So, I mean, he did go into it with something to brag about, to say, hey, in Indiana, I've done this, this, and this. But on the national level, it wasn't enough.
Yes, and I mean, I'm sure the speech, I can imagine, because... Look,
which speech? The concession speech?
Well, do you give a concession speech when you lose in like one of these caucus type of things?
I don't know.
Because, what do you come out there and say? Boy, yes, in Indiana we have just elected Republicans left and right, and we have, raised largest tax increase in state history. We have let a domestic terrorist write part of our police reform bill. We have, we tried to put you in jail for not wearing a mask. I mean, I would really wonder what Kyle Hupfer's speech to the delegates was all about. Maybe somebody has a recording of that so we could hear that. But I was so emotional, so broken up about that story, and I appreciate you being able to fairly, administer the story to our audience about a real local hero just coming up a little short on the big stage.
Just a little short. It is 9:44. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Kevin McCarthy in the news, Elizabeth Warren in the news, and also a list of the 10 most iconic retro cell phones of all time has come out. So we have a lot to get to. Stay with us. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel's show, 3 to 7 this afternoon. The biggest stories in Indy. We'll have the latest crime numbers, and it's Monday Gun Day, 93 WIBC.
Hi, I'm Emmitt Smith, Pro Football Hall of Famer and 3-time champion. Trust me, I know about joint pain.
Pro Football's all-time leading rusher, Emmitt Smith, talks about chronic joint pain and exciting new regenerative treatments from QC Kinetics.
I know what it's like to fight through pain, but now, you and I, we have help. QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in advanced, all-natural regenerative medicine that can give you lasting relief with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery. Do you suffer with constant pain from arthritis or injury? Pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or lower back? Don't assume steroids, pain meds, and surgery are your only options. Regenerative, restorative, natural solutions are now available.
Don't let your joint pain keep you from doing the things you love.
Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation and learn how regenerative medicine can repair and restore damaged joint tissue.
Make the call to QC Kinetics. Tell them Emmitt Smith sent you.
Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
Do you struggle with occasional nerve aches in your hands or feet? Try Nervive Nerve Relief from the world's #1 nerve care company. Nervive tablets contain alpha-lipoic acid to relieve nerve aches, weakness, and discomfort, plus B-complex vitamins to support healthy nerve function as you age. Live life with less nerve discomfort with Nervive Nerve Relief. Learn more at nervivehealth.com. And try Nervive Pain Relieving Cream to block nerve pain signals at the source. Use as directed.
What's it like having next-gen supersonic Wi-Fi from Xfinity? Well, it's ready for major gig speeds. So it's fast, like riding a cheetah fast. And But with 3 times the bandwidth, the gaming never has to end. Plus, Xfinity Supersonic Wi-Fi has the power you need to connect hundreds of devices at the same time. Unbeatable internet from Xfinity. Made to do anything so you can do anything.
Learn more about our next-generation Wi-Fi technology from Xfinity to do more of what you love online. Or, now through February 21st, new customers can get started with 75 megabits per second internet for only $20 a month for 12 months. Plus, there's no annual contract required, so it's risk-free. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Actual speeds vary.
President Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy are going to meet this week. It's their first meeting since Kevin McCarthy became Speaker of the House earlier this month. It's 9:47. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So what do you think they're going to talk about? Oh, the debt ceiling. Republicans demanding that lifting the borrowing cap can be tied to spending reductions. The White House, however, saying that no, they're not going to negotiate on raising the debt ceiling.
So we will find out. You know, we've heard the bravado. We've heard the get rid of the IRS, get rid of all the IRS agents. We've heard abolish the tax code. We've heard spending this, spending that. None of that matters. You know what matters? The only thing that matters is whatever the Republicans sign on to out of these debt ceiling negotiations. Because all the stuff the Republicans are doing right now has no chance of passing. They're never going to get rid of the IRS. They're never going to reform the tax code, given the structure of the government. The flex, the power the Republicans have, is in these debt ceiling negotiations, because the only leverage they will have until late next year, thanks to Todd Young and Mitch McConnell, because they signed off on a $1.7 trillion spending bill, is to get the stuff now in the debt ceiling negotiation, because they've got to raise, or at least that's the claim of many people. They have to raise the debt ceiling. So you will never be stronger than you are right now.
So the White House said that they're not going to offer any concessions or negotiate at all on raising the debt ceiling. So what are they going to talk about? I mean, they're both just holding their ground, right?
Well, Kevin McCarthy, who is Jim Banks' best friend, as we know. Jim Banks, a huge Kevin McCarthy fan, voted for him 15 times. I think this was maybe Fox News he was on. He's using words like reasonable and responsible. And when Republicans use words like reasonable and responsible, that usually doesn't end well for the American taxpayer, because their version of reasonable and responsible with our money, well, it doesn't exactly
doesn't
align.
Really work out good for us.
But here's Jim Banks' best friend, Kevin McCarthy.
But do you have any indication that the president is willing to discuss both lifting the debt ceiling and the issue of future spending?
Well, if he's changed his mind from his whole time in the Senate and vice president before, I mean, he literally led the talks in 2011 and he praised having those talks. This is what he's always done in the past. And if he listens to the American public, more than 74% believe we need to sit down and find ways to eliminate this wasteful spending in Washington. So I don't believe he would change his behavior from before. And I know there's a willingness on our side to find a way that we can find a reasonable and responsible way to get this done.
Okay, so Biden came out and he said that he's going to remind McCarthy of his constitutional obligation to prevent a national default.
Where is that in the Constitution?
Like every other House and Senate leader in U.S. history has done. So it's kind of like, we've always done this. So who do you think you are? You're going to stand up and say no? No, we've always done this, so we're going to keep on doing it.
Where somebody can help me is, where in the Constitution does it say, and you will prevent a U.S. default? I don't, maybe it's in there and I just missed it. And if so, I will gladly accept that I missed that in the Constitution.
Well, McCarthy suggested that defense spending could potentially be on the table.
Well, everything should be on the table. And this is the problem, right? The Republicans get their sacred stuff that in times of negotiation that they aren't willing to axe either. Everybody is at fault here. And we will see real quick whether the Republicans are serious about spending or if it's more of the same. But I think you're going to get with the national Republicans the same thing you get here, where they talk a big game and then they go into session. And like here, they're sitting on $1,500 of our money, and you get $200 back, and they go, look at this tax refund we gave you. When the reality is, no, you're still stealing the majority of our money. Same thing here. They'll do something that will in some way, air quote, for people on YouTube, trim spending, but it won't be anything meaningful that's actually going to solve inflation or our national debt or anything. And they'll go, look at the spending concessions we got, when they know it won't actually make any difference.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And since you mentioned YouTube, I'll remind everybody you can watch if you'd like. Just type in Kendall and Casey WIBC into your YouTube search bar. Okay, it's Monday. I know, a long week laid out in front of us. So how about some comedy?
Oh, yes.
And for that, we turn to Elizabeth Warren. She's refusing to back Kamala Harris as the next vice president, and she enthusiastically throwing her support behind Joe Biden for a second term.
So you remember Elizabeth Warren? She is the lady who lied about being a Native American her entire life to get high-ranking jobs in education, to become a U.S. senator. Of course, we will investigate George Santos to the ends of the earth, but Elizabeth Warren, whose whole life is based on a lie about being a Native American, not just for political office, but her entire success in the professional realm, if you want to call it, is based on a lie. She is, yes, as you said, she's weighing in and very hesitant to endorse Kamala Harris.
If he's that old in his second term, the vice presidency becomes even more important. Should Kamala Harris be his choice the second time around?
You know, I really want to defer to what makes Biden comfortable on his team. I've known Kamala for a long time. I like Kamala. I knew her back when she was an attorney general and I was still teaching, and we worked on the housing crisis together. So we go way back, but they have to be a team, and my sense is they are. I don't mean that by suggesting I think there are any problems. I think they are.
We have to make Joe comfortable.
Casey.
Like, let's tuck him in.
Can we
with a blankie, his favorite recliner? Make him comfortable.
Can we role play here for a second?
Sure.
I want to demonstrate to our audience how you actually provide a definitive answer for our when you're asked a question, because I don't feel like she really did that.
No.
Okay, so you ask me, you be the reporter, and I'll be me. Okay. Rob, do you think Ron DeSantis should be the Republican nominee for president?
Okay. Mr. Kendall, do you think that Ron DeSantis should be the Republican presidential candidate for 24?
Yes, absolutely. He has been phenomenal. He has been a fighter. He's been on the side of liberty and freedom. I wholeheartedly support Ron DeSantis being the Republican nominee for president. Okay, can we role play again?
Yeah.
Now you be the reporter and I'll be me, and you say, Rob Kendall, do you think Suzanne Crouch should be the governor of the state of Indiana?
Mr. Kendall, I'm curious if you think that Suzanne Crouch, current lieutenant governor of the state of Indiana, should be the governor.
No, absolutely not. I think silent Suzanne would be a disaster for the state of Indiana, based on the fact that she was completely silent as Eric Holcomb did all the stuff the past 6 years, the massive tax increases, shutting down the state, trying to put you in jail for not wearing a mask. I think that would be a disaster. See how easy that was? Why can't the politicians just do that?
Just give an answer. They have to give themselves wiggle room. I think it's really interesting that she tried to say how they were good friends and they've worked together, but they've kind of butted heads in the past. Elizabeth Warren and Kamala Harris have. Specifically when they were both running for president in 2020.
Trump is coming up next, right?
Yeah.
Trump audio is coming up next.
Right.
Trump audio dumping on DeSantis is coming up next.
It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. Good morning.
Helzberg Diamonds presents the holy grail of engagement rings. Michael was getting engaged and needed a ring, but not just any ring, the engagement ring. The kind that when he saw it, he'd just know. So Michael looked around online, asked friends for advice.
I want a ring that's special. One that's,
You gotta go to Helzberg.
Michael went to Helzberg Diamonds, where he found an incredible selection of beautiful rings, settings, and both lab-grown and natural diamonds, certified and guaranteed to be of the highest quality. He also met Sarah, a Helzberg diamond expert, who helped him find that special ring he was looking for, so that when his fiancée opened the box...
Wow, it's...
Yep, sounds right to me. Be like Michael. Find the engagement ring of her dreams at a Helzberg store near you or online at Helzberg.com. And right now at Helzberg Diamonds, take advantage of special financing offers.
It's Jesse Kelly here. I can't afford to lose 30% of my 401k or IRA again, and I'm assuming you can't either. Call Oxford Gold. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver is a portfolio protection plan, and Oxford Gold has made it easy as 1, 2, 3. One app, one call, and you pick your precious metals. That's it. You now own precious metals. Call Oxford Gold today to learn more about the 1, 2, 3 protection plan. 833-404-GOLD. 833-404-GOLD.
The new year is here. Time for a change. Start a recession-resistant new career in the high-demand IT field with My Computer Career. In just months, already in IT? Build your cybersecurity skills and prep for thousands of open positions employers nationwide are desperate to fill. Attend classes live online or on campus, and financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill. Make this your year. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. That's mycomputercareer.edu.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been a local, family-owned and operated business for nearly 50 years and helps keep Central Indiana's economy strong by employing over 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis stands by their products and services while they share and embrace our conservative values. So when you have garage door problems, call them today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis, 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-200-1966. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-200-1966. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-200-1966. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-200-1966. 800-200-1966.
Turn to the experts at Howald Heating and Carrier for all your heating needs. Howald Heating, Air, and Plumbing, where coming home never felt so good. Online at howaldheatingandair.com.
Woodard, Emhart, Henry, Reeves, and Wagner. Over 140 years specializing exclusively in patent, trademark, trade secret, and copyright law and litigation. On the web at uspatent.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, property taxes are increasing. Kurt Darling explains why and what you need to know. A winter weather advisory is in effect today. The ACLU of Indiana is at the State House, and why Ascension St. Vincent is closing several hospitals. Those stories and more next from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's now 10 o'clock.
Will Congress act this time? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The police beating of Tyree Nichols, who died in Memphis 3 days later, has led to renewed calls for police reform.
We need a national conversation on this. We do not need denial or willful indifference.
Democratic Senator Dick Durbin on ABC's This Week, but it's two other senators in the spotlight, Democrat Cory Booker and Republican Tim Scott.
Both men leading the charge for law enforcement reforms back in 2021. But back then, negotiations fell apart over disagreements on how to handle qualified immunity or what kind of protections officers should have from potential lawsuits. Senator Booker says he's going to renew his legislative efforts this week. Senator Scott says he wants to see change. Senator Scott writing, "We have been here too many times before. We cannot continue down this path. America cannot stand silent. This was a man beaten by the power of the state."
Fox's Mark Meredith, the district attorney in Memphis, says more people could be charged. So far, it's now 5 ex-cops charged with murder. The Taliban in Pakistan targeted police in a suicide bombing at a mosque full of officers. At least 47 worshipers were killed, more than 100 injured. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Israel for talks, days after deadly attacks in the West Bank and in East Jerusalem.
On landing, Secretary Blinken urging de-escalation.
It's the responsibility of everyone to take steps
to calm tensions rather than inflame them, to work toward a day when people no longer feel afraid.
He's meeting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today, then Palestinian leaders on Tuesday.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Utah is joining more than a dozen states, restricting doctor treatments on kids who might change gender.
Republican Governor Spencer Cox signed the law banning transgender surgery for those under 18. It becomes the first state in 2023 to do so. The new law also bars hormone treatments for minors who haven't been diagnosed with gender dysphoria.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Testimony is underway. At week 2 of Alec Murdaugh's trial in South Carolina, the lawyer charged with murdering his wife and son. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What's causing the increase? A winter weather advisory is in effect until noon today. You've got 30 degrees. I'm Donnie Burgess. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Higher property taxes are something many Hoosiers who own a home are having to deal with. 93 WIBC's Kurt Darling reports on some perspective.
The numbers crunched by David Bodorf with the Association of Indiana Counties.
Residential values increased by 16.5% on average across the state, and agriculture property values increased by 15.9%.
That's based off of home buying data from 2021, a time of high prices and low interest rates. Bodorf says Fountain, Morgan, Hancock, and Warwick counties have seen some of the biggest increases on average. Kirk Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A small winter weather system is moving over Indiana this morning, dropping light snow, which could cause some ice to form on the road.
This afternoon, as the precipitation ends, we'll have just cloudy skies, but falling temperatures through the day, and temperatures will fall into the lower 20s by 5 p.m.
Meteorologist Jason Puma. The ACLU of Indiana is hosting its 4th LGBTQ Day at the Indiana State House. Speakers plan to address several bills introduced in this legislative session they claim push trans kids and adults out of public life. Police in Indianapolis spent most of their Sunday looking for a man accused of shooting at his girlfriend's car. Deputy Chief Josh Barker with Indy Metro Police says the suspect in that shooting was found about 4 Sunday afternoon. He tried to get away with a car and then on foot, says Barker.
The individual fired shots at the officers. 3 of our officers returned fire, striking the suspect.
A second suspect was arrested. Ascension St. Vincent is closing nearly a dozen more locations around the state. The hospital system saying the pandemic took a operational toll and will be discontinuing operations in places like Greenwood, Crawfordsville, Carmel, Avon, and Plainfield. I'm Donnie Burgess on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
2023's here, and does your home have a New Year's resolution? Well, if it's like mine, it could probably use a fresh beginning and a professional clean. In my book, there's nobody better than the professionals at Zero Res. They're my go-to team for cleaning carpets, hardwood floors, ceramic tile and grout, and even area rugs to give it that smart, lasting clean. They always have our place looking its best, and Zero Res is the only company I trust to clean my home. Their proprietary technology cleans your carpets without flooding the carpet padding. That means I can have my house looking its best with dry carpets in just a few hours, not days. Their team of knowledgeable technicians always walk me through the entire carpet cleaning process to make sure I'm completely satisfied before they leave. So start your 2023 off right and give Zero Res a call today to make an appointment. Right now, when you mention WIBC, you get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $139. Call 388-5141 or schedule your appointment at ZeroResIndy.com with promo code ZeroRes1 and treat yourself to a smarter, lasting clean.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Monday, January 30th. It is 5 minutes after 10. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So let's do it. Let's talk about Donald Trump. He's been on the road. And while he's been on the road, he's been taking aim at Ron DeSantis. He called the Florida governor and his team very disloyal. So their relationship goes all the way back to 2018 when Trump endorsed DeSantis. DeSantis even had an ad featuring his family and his children, and he highlighted his allegiance with Trump. But now Trump is calling DeSantis just an average governor. And of course, we know he gave him that nickname, Ron DeSanctimonious, as well.
Trump is doing the thing and reminding everybody why he can't be the Republican nominee for president. And Trump has, so he had these rallies over the weekend or events, whatever you want to call them, in New Hampshire and South Carolina. And so he's putting his team together, whatever. But Trump's inability to, one, go away, and we've seen this in his approval ratings, et cetera. I mean, they just consistently go down. They don't really go back up. His inability to go away, he is exhausting to people, but also his inability to restrain himself. And what I'm talking about is any person in this country who can legally run for president has every right to run for president. That office is not yours. It doesn't belong to you. You aren't guaranteed to have it whenever you want. And if Ron DeSantis chooses to run for president, he has an incredible record to run on. And the correct approach from Trump would be, look, I still think I'm the best person for this job. I still think we as the American people have unfinished business. I still think we got a raw deal in 2020, and I'm here and I'm willing to fight. I understand other people believe they may be better for this job. I look forward to making the case on the record that we had and how I'm the guy to fix it. And somebody here is going to win, but it doesn't mean that many of us haven't contributed to liberty, advancing the cause of liberty and freedom in our own way. Look, I just made that up off the top of my head. That's the way you should approach someone like Ron DeSantis, who has been a fighter for what is good and what is right in liberty and freedom.
It's being reported that Ron DeSantis, his political team, they've already identified potential campaign hires in states like Iowa and New Hampshire for a potential run. And, of course, Trump is warning DeSantis of who knows what. He said, I think if he runs, he could hurt himself very badly. What's he going to stub his toe? What does he mean?
What is he saying? Ron DeSantis accidentally jumped off the 7th floor of the MS Communications building, where it's a terrible loss for all of us.
He'll hurt himself very, very badly.
So listen to this audio. This is him on a plane. CNN had the video of this, calling DeSantis disloyal because he's daring to ponder a run for president.
So Ron would have not been governor if it wasn't for me, and that's okay. Number one, he wouldn't have gotten the nomination, and number two, he wouldn't have beaten his Democrat opponent. So then when I hear he might run, I consider that very disloyal, but it's not about loyalty. But to me it is. It's always about loyalty, but for a lot of people it's not.
I consider that very disloyal. It's not about loyalty, but to me it is. What does that even mean, Casey?
I don't know, but it reminds me of somebody who's jealous that their mentor or their young Padawan learner is succeeding. It's like, if Kevin were to go on and get some super great job after learning from you and being here, like, you're bitter that he's bettering himself.
Right. It's pathetic.
Yeah.
Donald Trump is a pathetic person, right? And he's showing himself to be a pathetic person. Ron DeSantis has followed through on everything he promised to do. He is one of the few politicians who has been as advertised and not wilted in the face of adversity. Did Trump maybe help him in 2018 get him across the finish line? Sure. Absolutely.
But does he owe the rest of his political career?
Not. And instead of Trump saying, look, I was so glad that I was able to help Ron DeSantis get across the finish line. We were so proud that our supporters were willing to coalesce around this guy, and Florida is definitely a better place for it now. I look forward to winning Florida in the Republican primary. I look forward to winning Florida in the general election. And I know Ron DeSantis, who has a bright future, will be right there cheerleading me the entire time. Gee, again, just made that up off the top of my head.
I think it's really interesting. Trump recently told the Associated Press that he hasn't spoken to DeSantis in a long time. Like, they haven't talked in a while.
So he did New Hampshire in addition to South Carolina. And the governor of New Hampshire, Sununu, was on, again, I think this was CNN, and says DeSantis would win New Hampshire without a doubt.
He's the only declared candidate.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously DeSantis and Trump are the two candidates, right? So whether he's declared or not.
He's not declared.
Okay, not publicly declared, but he has hundreds of millions of dollars. Just obviously Ron DeSantis is looking to run for president, which is fine. And he'd probably win New Hampshire right now, without a doubt.
Okay, so there's this new poll out, and it was a University of New Hampshire poll, and it showed that DeSantis was leading Trump 42-30. And then there's these other polls that go the other way that say Trump is leading by just 4 or 5 points. But I have to mention this this is a smiler, just to give you a little bit of a tickle. They listed who else, how other people would do in this poll. And Liz Cheney got 4%. Yeah. And also Kristi Noem of South Dakota got 2%. Mike Pence got 1%.
Oh, that's a shame. I hate to hear that. He's a very, very, very honest person. All right. Hey, let's take a break because there's 2 topics I want to get into when we come back.
Okay.
Apparently, the angry red-shirted teachers are about to make a big appearance down at the State House. I don't know if they're walking off the job again or they're doing this after hours. It looks like they're going to be walking off the job of serving the children who they're supposed to serve to make an appearance at the State House. And there was a great article in the Daily Mail about the 10 most iconic retro cell phones, and I want to see if you had any of these because I definitely remember these phones, and they bring back rather fond memories to when the world was a simpler place.
All right, you're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
It's best, Mr. President, that you don't know what you're guilty of. It's best that you not know that these documents pertain to conversations regarding Ukraine, where your son was having business dealings and making millions of dollars, and now they, meaning the free and thinking world, can connect your classified document, the classified documents in your possession, to things that may exist on your son's laptop.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
It's game day at Jim's house, and the spread is impressive.
Mike's already done some damage with the hot wings, and now he's dropping back and going deep for another slice of pizza.
I sure hope he brought the Pepto.
Mike knows the Pepto-Bismol provides fast 5-symptom relief from unexpected stomach upsets. He's no rookie.
The way he's throwing back those nachos, he's the GOAT.
Be ready for game day with Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Does runaway inflation and reckless spending in Washington have you worried about the security of your hard-earned retirement savings? If so, it's time to call the precious metals experts at Fisher Capital. Fisher Capital specializes in helping investors like you diversify their retirement portfolio and preserve wealth with physical gold and silver. Whether you're looking to acquire coins or bars, open a gold IRA, or just want to learn more about the advantages of owning precious metals, Fisher Capital will equip you with the knowledge to make an informed decision that's right for you and your family. Call Fisher Capital today at 800-376-4333. That's 800-376-4333. Mention WIBC when you call to get a free no-obligation investor kit. 800-376-4333. 800-376-4333. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Don't lose another night's sleep worrying about the security of your retirement savings. Call Fisher Capital, 800-376-4333.
Guys, if you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T. Schedule your complete health assessment at Low T Center. They now offer the convenience of monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatments for $155 a month cash pay or covered by most health insurance.
If you don't live near a Low T Center or just need the convenience of at-home treatment, Low T Center makes it easy to get started on treatments. Only your first 2 visits are in person. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book online. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Don't trust your home improvement projects to out-of-state franchise companies. Stay local and buy local with B Window, family owned for 40 years.
Trust me. It's the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
See that sign? No shirt, no shoes, no tie.
Right. Learn it. Know it.
Live it.
16 minutes after 10, you're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, and some people that are trending this hour. Meghan Trainor. You know, she's the one who sings that song.
No idea.
It's all about that bass.
Oh, I know that song. I did not know that was her.
Yes, Meghan Trainor, that's her. She has announced that she's pregnant with her second baby.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Mm-hmm. Also trending, Lisa Loring.
Who?
She played Wednesday on the original Addams Family. She passed away at the age of 64.
That seems young, doesn't it?
It is very young.
It seems like a lot of younger people are passing away. I mean, I can still consider, anything in their 60s to be a pretty young person.
Yes, absolutely. Finally trending, Harry Styles. So he was doing a concert in LA and he split his pants.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
The women were very excited.
He ended up taking a rainbow flag and tying it around his waist to cover his parts, his bits and pieces. But Harry Styles also in talks to do a residence in LA or in Las Vegas. He's going to allegedly take over when Adele is done.
I thought you were going to say Abdul.
I was going to say
He's going to take over when Abdul is done.
Abdul's doing a residency in Vegas. Who knew? It's quite the political show. No, when Adele is done, Harry Styles might take over that spot.
Casey, this Wednesday, I really need you to be on your best behavior and look your best.
Okay.
And really just
see what I can do.
Just up your game a little bit because we've got some very special guests, according to social media, who are going to be joining us here in downtown Indianapolis.
So you're talking about 10 a.m.?
Yes, February the 1st. The angry red-shirted teacher crowd is going to be, 10 a.m., that's a school time, right?
Yeah.
So I guess there'll be a large group of angry red-shirted teachers who, once again, will be abandoning their students and walking off the job and coming to the State House to yell at the Republicans.
Okay, so this is the Indiana State Teachers Association. Let's pack the house over this session.
Oh, yes.
What's going on?
Well, let's read the what to expect here, shall we? Because we saw this Facebook group here. And by the way, they're planning, packing the house also on Monday, February the 6th. And this also says Tuesday, February 7th. Now, if you haven't seen what happens here, and I don't know if this is like a full-blown Red for Ed day, but what happens is these teachers, they walk off the job and abandon the students they claim to care so much about, and they'll wear a red sweater or a red T-shirt, and they'll come down with their bullhorns and their chanting and their signs, and they'll make Republicans in State House feel very bad about having any ideas that might benefit a taxpayer or the children or the parents of the children themselves. And it's interesting because right now the Senate, Micah let me know that the Senate is actually hearing testimony on that bill that's the actual bill is in the House that would make school board elections partisan, like every other election in the state of Indiana. So I'm sure the angry red-shirted teachers who are walking off the job to abandoning the students will come and be very upset about that. But here's what the ISTA Facebook post here says. Or at least it says it's ISTA is listed at the top. I guess they're the ones who made this post. Let's pack the house over this session. ISTA's Pack the House events will be held on select days in February and April. Members and allies will be informed of the latest legislation information and gather at the State House to meet with legislators and be seen, all to ensure the defeat of legislation harmful to students or our profession.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Each day's exact schedule will vary depending on the legislative calendar for the day.
So, a couple years ago, it's been now, I guess, time really flies. So I guess this was 4-ish years ago now. Remember Hammer and I famously caught a bunch of the angry red-shirted teachers who were here for the students, boozing and gambling down at the winner's circle, and we, took the photo, and the photo got posted, and then they got real mad and started sending me all sorts of hate mail, like they thought that was going to do something to me. So I don't know. I'm looking for a very positive experience with the angry red-shirted teachers. Tempted to maybe mosey on over there after we get off the air and, just see how it's going and see what they're doing for the students and, wearing their red shirts and trying to scream at Republicans.
So it's interesting because this post doesn't say what their agenda is, what they're coming down for.
Well,
other than to pack the house over the session.
The agenda is what it always is. It's chaos, and it's ensuring that there are no changes made to the dominance that public education has over young people's existence. So they don't want anything that would allow parents to have choice where their kids go to school. They're certainly not going to want school board elections to be like every other election, in the state of Indiana, in which you have to declare a party affiliation. Because let's face it, lunatic leftists get elected to school boards in otherwise Republican communities because they don't have to put a D next to their name. So they're going to be very invested in those things because they want all the money. They want to, I guarantee they'll be certainly very vocal in their red shirts about any property tax reform that might take place. So it'll be a great time.
Think?
Oh, I just taking a little guess based on previous actions by the angry red-shirted teachers.
The part that I find interesting about this, Rob, is you sent me a screenshot of this, and that's Rob's way of saying, hey, we're going to talk about this. So he sent me a screenshot of this, and when I open it up, and this was from Facebook, and on Facebook you can say if you're going, if you're interested. Two people that are going.
Oh, that's very exciting.
6 are interested.
Well.
I'm mildly interested. I might go. Kind of depends on how I feel that day.
Well, like I said, again, I maybe I'm missing something here, but if it were about the students, I'm not sure why, as a teacher, you would be leaving on a school day in the middle of the day, and you would be leaving your students because it's supposed to be about the students and our, I guess our profession. I don't know, but I don't know why you'd be leaving the students when you could, like any other person, have contact with your lawmakers, really at any time.
Yeah, via email or write a letter or even call them. 22 minutes after 10, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, and let's take a look at the 10 most iconic retro mobile phones. They range from the Nokia 3310 to the Motorola Razr. How many of these do you remember?
Well, so I was thinking, do you remember your first cellular telephone?
Oh, boy. No, but I know I had the Razr. And I liked the Razr.
So I had, my dad had, and he allowed me to use when I was in high school, one of those. It wasn't quite the block phone like Zach Morris had, but it flipped open, and it had a gigantic battery plug-in thing, whatever. You could walk around with it, though I would guess the cellular service wasn't all that great.
I did have a Motorola flip phone. And the interesting thing about that was...
Everyone did, didn't they?
Yeah, but texting was very hard because...
Yes. Remember you had to hit the same letter three times? Like if you wanted to see?
Right.
Yeah.
You had to keep going through.
And it got me thinking, I was even thinking about like radio. Remember in the remotes on radio when you had the bag phone? Did you work at a radio station that had a bag phone?
Yeah.
Where, it literally was like the phone would fit in a bag and it had an antenna that would come out of it.
Yep.
And you had to be very careful about where you went to do remotes because there was a good chance you'd be in what they call roaming. Is roaming even a thing anymore? I can't imagine roaming's even a thing.
Can you turn that off and on your phone? On your settings? I think you can. Can't you?
But
you can.
Roaming's not a thing anymore, is it right? Where you used to be areas where you would get charged for your phone calls if you were not in a whatever provider area.
Roaming on. Cellular data options, roaming on. Yeah,
okay, but
you can do that.
That's for cellular data. I'm talking about, remember the phone calls, right? It was super expensive. Somebody answer the phone and go, this better be important. I'm roaming. You remember that?
No.
Yeah, that was like a huge thing.
I don't remember. I know hotspots are a big thing now.
And then let's see here. The Razr obviously was huge. That was the Razr was a great phone. Itself. Like obviously everybody has a smartphone now. But in terms of actual cellular telephone in which you were not using for dependency to the internet, I would say the Razr. I would put the Razr amongst the top of the all-time great cellular telephones.
Yep. They've also got the iPhone 3G on this list, the Motorola Dynatac 8000X. Boy, that sounds like the TK421BF549 or whatever. It's like we're just making things up at this point. The LG Chocolate.
Yes. Also a phenomenal. Now, the only thing with the Chocolate was the screen was very small.
Yeah. You need a bigger screen.
Yeah. Need a bigger boat.
Yeah, they've got the BlackBerry on there. Now, I do recall the BlackBerry with the little stylus, the pen that you would use with it. And let's see, the Nokia 7280.
Yeah.
They've got the Sony Ericsson. I think I might have had one of those. Yeah.
There was something wonderful about the idea of interacting with someone and they had sent you a text message. And in the olden days, in the olden days, the photograph was an attachment.
Yeah.
And if there was an attachment, there was something magical. Let's say if it was a lady you were pursuing, knowing that she was likely on the other end of that photo, but it took forever for the photo to come up. So there was immense anticipation. I'm not saying like there was anticipation about you would be anticipating what she might be wearing or not wearing, but I'm saying there was anticipation of what was on the other end.
So you're saying that photo is like what the bubble is today when someone's texting you.
Perfect. Yes.
The three dots. You know it's incoming.
Absolutely.
What is it?
And then there was either your expectations were either exceeded or it was a letdown.
Oh.
It's a picture of your dog. Not what I was expecting. Nice dog, though.
So the Nokia, the 3310, this phone, it had a calculator and a stopwatch and a reminder feature, and you could download new ringtones. That's exciting stuff. Do you find it weird that you're being nostalgic over technology that's 20 years old?
Well, Casey, you know me. I could be nostalgic over a bowel movement. So, it's not really that big of a deal for me. Although I do think, though, wasn't the world a better place when we had to be social to interact with people?
Right.
Or you had a limited way by which you could interact. I mean, I remember when getting to 9 o'clock was a big deal, because the minutes were free after 9 o'clock. Or you could upgrade your cell phone plan for your minutes to be free at 7 o'clock. And as a person who once upon a time broadcast high school sporting events, all the sporting events would start at 7. So you had to pay to upgrade your minutes so that you would not be charged.
Which is your favorite phone?
Of all time?
Yeah. Don't say rotary.
The Razor was an incredibly solid phone. And in terms of an actual just cellular telephone in the pre-smartphone days, I think you got to give some strong, solid consideration for a Razor.
Yeah, I like the Razor too. That was one of my faves. I kept it for as long as I possibly could. But
do you keep your old phones or did you get rid of them?
I did. I don't know if they made this last move with me, but I did for a long time. But I will tell you now that there's the smartphone, and there are people saying that the flip phones are coming back, and the Gen Z generation likes the old classic cell. No, I wouldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I like having all the technology right there.
Something you would do though, Casey, is you would love to hear voicemails from our audience.
Yeah, we've got that coming up. It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Why does We Grow Hair Indy have the best hair transplant results? Because they have the best technology. And I'm living proof of it. This is Rob. I'm out and about in the community for this radio station, and I feel so much better because We Grow Hair Indy has the technology that restored both my hairline and my crown area. And this year, they can restore yours too. Call them right now at 317-522-2995. Here's Darren Andrews to explain.
Having that strong hairline again completely changes the way you see yourself. It makes a huge difference. A lot of people think the crown cannot be transplanted. It's actually an area of specialty for us with our multi-unit hair grafting.
My hair is going to grow the rest of my life. I'm very happy I called We Grow Hair Indy. Call right now for your free evaluation. 317-522-2995. That's 317-522-2995. WeGrowHairIndy.com, the gold standard in hair restoration.
When you order food for work on EasyCater.com, we've got your back. Real humans are here to help with your order every step of the way, making sure everything goes right, even behind the scenes without you knowing. Confirming and double confirming with the restaurant that everything is on track. If there's a problem,
thanks for calling EasyCater.
Call us anytime, day or night, and we'll answer in seconds. We're right here with 100,000 restaurants, working hard to ensure the food arrives on time and is ordered. Order 24/7 at EasyCater.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-200-1966. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-200-1966. That's 800-200-1966. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-200-1966. 800-200-1966.
Do you need furnace or heat pump service and need to find a local well-trained expert you can trust like Reinhardt Heating and Cooling? Well, find that American Standard dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What changes have been made to the school? Light snow falling over central Indiana. A winter weather advisory is in effect until noon. I'm Donnie Burgess. Here's what's trending at 10:31. A Virginia school is reopening today for the first time since a student shot a teacher. Fox's Eben Brown reports.
Rich Neck Elementary School in Newport News, Virginia is back in session today. It is the first day of classes since a 6-year-old shot and wounded teacher Abigail Zwerner, allegedly with his mother's handgun. That investigation continues and the teacher is recovering now at home. Both the principal and the assistant principal have now left the school, and the school board last week fired the superintendent. The teacher is suing the district, claiming administrators knew the child was violent. Eben Brown, Fox News.
You've got chilly days ahead, says meteorologist Jason Puma. Highs in the 20s with lows in the teens. On the bright side, no need to carry an umbrella.
We don't have any, after today's precipitation, we don't have any precipitation in the forecast through next Sunday.
Puma says it's still a good idea to drive slow and watch for slick spots left over from today's light snow. Another lottery winner in the Hoosier State, this time in Auburn. Hoosier Lottery says a $50,000 winning ticket was sold at a Speedway gas station in the town. I'm Donnie Burgess, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
I'm so sorry you have just reached my answer.
317-684-8444. That's our phone number if you'd like to contribute with your questions, comments, smart remarks, thoughts, whatever you got. It is 10:33. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. But before we get into voicemails, Rob, I think I need to plan a trip down to Lexington. There's a bear I have to see at the Kentucky Fun Mall.
I saw this yesterday, and I texted you, and I said, I can't believe I just saw this, but it apparently is a real thing. So I was watching the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
And there was an ad, and it was, you're just half paying attention, whatever. And it's an ad about this, it's a movie, and this bear is like this crazed bear. And so I'm kind of intrigued, and I start watching it, but I don't really have the volume up, so I can't really hear. But then I see at the end, the thing says Cocaine Bear in big letters, and then it says rated R. So I'm then led to believe that the name of the movie is Cocaine Bear.
It is.
But then I paused. Well, it is, but then I paused it. Surely, even in Hollywood, which is totally 100% out of ideas, has not stooped so low that a movie called Cocaine Bear would be a movie that they would put actual people's hard-earned money behind. But then
it's a real thing.
There's actually a movie called Cocaine Bear.
It's a black comedy thriller.
What does that mean?
That's a lot of genres mixed up into one
What in the
movie.
hell is that?
It's a black comedy thriller, and it was produced by Elizabeth Banks, and it is inspired by a true story. It's not based on true events. It's inspired by true events.
So it is a comedy.
Part of it.
It's like dark humor.
Dark humor, yeah.
Very morbid, but it's supposed to be funny.
Now, I saw that Matthew Rise and the other chick from The Americans are in this movie. Carrie Russell are in this, as is another character who is pretty prominent from The Americans. So I don't know, like if they just poached the cast of The Americans and said, you are no longer Russians. You are now people being chased by a cocaine bear.
By a bear.
I don't know. Are you going, do we have audio of this?
We do have audio.
A little
of
clip?
this. Yeah.
All right, here's a little bit of the movie.
Millions of dollars worth of cocaine fell from the sky this morning in Knoxville, Tennessee.
There's more of this out there. They dumped it somewhere.
I'm looking for my daughter. Forest is a dangerous place.
Hey, Henry, check it out. Something got into it. A deer, maybe.
A lot of cocaine was lost. I need you to go and get it. No, don't eat that, don't eat that. Let's see what kind of effect that has on us.
The bear. It did cocaine.
Okay, so the premise of this movie, I'm gathering, is some drug lord, dealer, whatever, lost a bunch of cocaine. They send these people out to get the cocaine. They encounter a bear who got to the cocaine like before they did.
Yeah, and then the bear goes on a killing spree because he's all hopped up on the cocaine.
Well, sure, why not?
Okay, but...
I mean, we've gone from, in 50 years' time, we've gone from the Godfather to Cocaine Bear.
So, yes. So some of that is true, like I mentioned, inspired from a real story. There was this 175-pound bear that died after ingesting a duffel bag full of cocaine. This happened in 1985. However, the bear didn't go on a mad killing spree and maul people in the woods like it does in the Cocaine Bear movie.
Are you paying your hard-earned money to see this movie?
No, but I'll watch it when it comes out.
Kevin,
know, on like the Amazon
would
Prime
you
or
part
something.
with your hard-earned money from this fine job you have to go see this movie?
I think the three of us should go see it
together.
Yeah,
we'll put Rob in the middle.
We'll give a little report the next day on the show.
Cocaine Bear.
You could not pay me money to go see this movie.
It's going to be in theaters on February 24th?
Yeah, and it'll be out of theaters on February 25th.
Okay.
Okay, so we got a bunch of phone calls, variety of topics. Let's start with we had Kevin last Friday. So Kevin went to a concert in Bloomington on Thursday night. And I stepped up and pulled all the audio because I said, hey, Kevin's going to be going to this concert. There's going to be some chicks there.
Yeah.
Maybe the future Mrs. McNamara could be there. I want Kev to be out having a good time.
Yeah.
So I waltz in here. Kevin strolls in like 4 minutes before the show starts. Think, wow, Kev must have had a great time.
Yeah.
Kev, tell us about all the chicks you hung out with. Kev, well, I didn't really talk to any women, but I did talk to some dudes in the bathroom. What? Yeah, I offered them stickers for my band.
Yeah, those are the only people I really talked to besides my friend. And his, I went with my friend and his stepdad.
And I got people sending me messages on Facebook, making memes of Kevin's interaction in the restroom. Some of them can't be consumed on the radio, but somebody did call with some thoughts on that.
Kevin, you're probably one of the better producers this show's ever had. No offense, Rob. No offense. But I just got to say, I got this mental image now of Kevin at the club in a bathroom, walking up to some dude, holding his junk at the urinal. Hey, man, you want a sticker? I'm sorry, that's just the image I got in my head of it now. Have a good one, guys.
Was he the one who made the meme?
I don't know. I've never interacted in person with the guy who made the meme. I just, well, Kevin, people find celebrity in a variety of different ways.
Can I just clear it up? The meme, it was a picture of a guy going to the urinal next to someone else.
Yeah,
and it was a little like word bubble saying, do you want a sticker?
Yeah, it's a pretty famous meme where like there's one guy at a urinal, all the other urinals are empty.
Yeah.
You can pick any urinal you want, but the guy picks the one right next to the other dude and then starts. You've seen it with a variety of different topics.
I just want to make this clear.
Yes.
I was washing my hands
Yes, I know.
when I started talking to these people.
Sure.
And what were they doing? Washing their hands?
They were waiting in line for the urinal.
Oh, okay. Hey, before you go do your business, here's a sticker.
People love stickers.
Did they take it? Did they take the sticker?
Yeah, they were like, oh, this is awesome. And I think what you
Weird guy in the bathroom.
What you got to understand is real human interactions.
Yeah.
Like you were just talking about the cell phones and how you miss the days of real human interaction.
Sure.
I'm keeping that alive.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I mean, those guys are going to remember that for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. One of the things I love about our audience is some people pay very close attention to this show and have for many years, and they know how to get their call played on the air, basically regardless of what the topic is. And one listener did go above and beyond to ensure that he got to tell us what he thought was the most important TV show of all time.
I forget which one pushes me towards the front of the line. So I hate your show, and I think you're the greatest ever. So on the subject of TV shows, Seinfeld has to be on your Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Because it was 9 seasons, and they all still hold up on their own, but they all also still have influence today. And my kids are in their 20s, and they haven't seen very many episodes until it popped up on Netflix last year. And they had no idea how many quotes and sayings they've heard and said over the years came from Seinfeld. And one of them, for a while, even thought that it was pretty good how Seinfeld took old memes and built entire episodes around them. Stuff like No Soup for You and not that there's anything wrong with that sort of thing. Anyway, I'm never tuning into your show again. Looking forward to listening to you today.
Seinfeld was one of the options, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, I think the only issue is
Casey mentioned it.
Yeah.
You got 9 years. I don't think you can compare 9 if longevity is part of the thing. Not to say 9 isn't a long time for a sitcom.
Can it gain points in other areas like cultural impact?
Okay, here's a great example, Kevin, because you're a musician, and we know that because you hand stickers to people in the restroom promoting your band.
Right.
You know, like with the songwriter, when you talk about like a complete band or whatever, like or your favorite artist, there might be certain things that you would say it's an A+ at songwriting or an A+ at, guitar playing. But persona or, stage presence is a C, whatever. Seinfeld, and by the way we're judging this, is an A+ in terms of the societal impact and the viewership, right? There's no doubt in the overall comparison, it's an A+ on those standards. However, longevity...
You're saying that's not long.
It's 9 years compared to Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune or Sesame Street.
Right.
It's an F, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of a made-up list, so it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter. We're not really grading.
Would you throw Curb Your Enthusiasm in there?
No, not even close. Not even close. No. No, sorry, Kevin.
We just squashed that down
that's
quickly.
been on for like 20 years.
Yeah.
I guess maybe it's not as impactful.
But it was off for a long time,
Wasn't it on HBO or
Yeah,
something?
you got a fraction of people. Okay, one more. Had a guy weigh in on, remember, we've had this discussion about where Mike Pence lives, and there is a strong...
Carmel or Zionsville.
Just people are very opinionated on both sides, whether it's Zionsville or Carmel. And this one guy made a point about how hard it is to live anywhere when you live in Hamilton County.
Hey, guys. Michael from Carmel. Want to address the so-called controversy, in quotes, about Dan Quayle, or not Dan Quayle, Mike Pence. It makes no difference. I've lived in Hamilton County for the past 40 years. My first house at 110th and Westfield Boulevard had an Indianapolis mailing address, 46280. My second house in Fishers did not have a post office, so my mailing address was Noblesville, 46060. My third and fourth houses have been south of 146th Street, but north of 146th Street is Westfield. So if you live north of Westfield or north of 146th, you go to Westfield Schools, but you still have a Carmel address. So it's all just this political drawing of lines, post offices, etc. So as a highly elected and respected official, Rob, you should know this. Take care, guys. Love you. Bye.
Was she just bragging that he had his third and fourth house?
I think that was the premise of that call, but I love the fact that the guy appears to have no idea where he actually lived all these years.
It's true. You could be somewhere and within whatever imaginary lines. So
yeah, you see that all the time. Well, I have fewer people have home phones now, but it used to be like, so for example, there were people who might have a Brownsburg zip code, a Danville
Mailing
address,
yeah.
you know.
But the physical house is
Right. I mean, you see that all the time. So, all right, Hammer is next, and you guys have been texting back and forth about something, right?
Yeah, movies.
Yeah, you and Hammer are going to go at it here over movie casts, and which was the most attractive movie cast of all time.
Yeah, I think I've got the winner.
All right.
He's going to put up an argument, I'm sure, but I think I've got the winner, and that's on the way from 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel's show, 3 to 7 this afternoon. The biggest stories in Indy. We'll have the latest crime numbers, and it's Monday Gun Day, 93 WIBC.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday morning at 8. Learn the answers to frequently asked financial questions and get the latest investment news to help you get the most of your money. Visit creativeplanning.com/radio.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Selling homes in today's market is tougher, but the outlook is improving. Interest rates have lowered and homes are selling. If you have been on the sidelines, now may be the time to sell. Talk to the agent I trust and recommend, Mark Dietel. Maybe you want to maximize your equity now while you still can. Mark Dietel guarantees an offer on your home in 3 days or it's listed for free. Get maximum convenience and maximum sales price. Listen to what Judy in Greenfield had to say about working with Mark Dietel. I was moving out of town and needed to sell fast. I also needed all my equity for my new place, so I needed a great price. I called Mark Dietel, and his team went above and beyond to market my home like crazy. Home sold in 9 days at list price. Call the agent I trust and recommend for the details. Mark Dietel guarantees an offer in 3 days for full market value or it's listed for free. Call Mark Dietel at 317-755-4232 or go online to markdietel.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-200-1966. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-200-1966. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-200-1966. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-200-1966. 800-200-1966.
Do you struggle with occasional nerve aches in your hands or feet? Try Nervive Nerve Relief from the world's #1 nerve care company. Nervive tablets contain alpha-lipoic acid to relieve nerve aches, weakness, and discomfort, plus B-complex vitamins to support healthy nerve function as you age. Live life with less nerve discomfort with Nervive Nerve Relief. Learn more at nervivehealth.com. And try Nervive Pain Relieving Cream to block nerve pain signals at the source. Use as directed.
People who suffer from arthritis are getting real pain relief with exciting biologic therapies at QC Kinetics.
The success rate is there, and there's no better way to treat yourself when it comes to dealing with pain.
Meet Tyler Vale, co-founder of QC Kinetics, who says they can't cure arthritis, but they can treat the pain.
If you think of the tide coming in and out on the beach and what it does, it erodes the sand, right? Can't stop the tide, but eventually when the sand or the beach gets bad enough, when we backfill that beach with sand so that we get generations of enjoyment with that beach again. And the same thing happens with your knee or your shoulder or your hip or your back. We want to backfill the problems that have happened to this point. I'm not stopping the tide, so I'm not stopping the arthritis, but I want to get generations of enjoyment out of those joints again.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. Learn more about how restorative biologic therapies can get you real and lasting joint pain relief.
Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
Good morning. It is 10:50. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Hammer joins us in the studio. So you bet Kansas City and you also bet the over. That means you didn't win that bet?
I didn't parlay them together because,
Okay.
again, parlay bets are sucker bets. I did 2 individual bets. I won the Chiefs one, did not hit the over on it. And I tell you what, anybody that bet the 49ers yesterday, the gambling gods owe you a refund. Because not having a functioning quarterback after the opening drive of the game is not fair.
Yeah, okay. And I asked you this when we came in the studio. I think, given the magnitude of the game and the calls, that was in the Chiefs-Bengals game was the worst officiated game in NFL history.
It wasn't good, but
that's nice.
Is that why Cincinnati lost? I can't say that. Because Cincinnati made a lot of dumb, bonehead mistakes. Like, yeah, there's probably going to be a flag called if you hit Patrick Mahomes 2 yards out of bounds on the sideline and knock him into the dirt. They're probably going to call a flag on that.
You can't throw a flag there, though, unless the guy gets injured, because that's going to decide.
He was 2 yards out of bounds, Rob.
Let's get our knitting needles out.
It was like it was some sort of, well, maybe he was on the line. He wasn't. Mahomes was actually slowing down to come back, and this maniac comes by and blasts him in the back.
You played me a video. I loved this. Some guy on the Bengals was giving the business to the guy who committed the foul as he's walking back into the locker room.
Yeah. So they're walking back to the tunnel, taking that L back into the locker room. And one of the other defensive players is yelling at the guy that got that late penalty. But at the same time, because the internet is awesome, fans were like, now, wait a minute here. Because the other guy was like a linebacker.
Yeah.
They highlighted all of the missed tackles he had, including being trucked by Patrick Mahomes in a key part of the game that kept a drive alive.
Now, sports betting obviously is your wheelhouse. And I was thinking, if you bet real money, like let's say you had bet on the Bengals, whether it is to cover or win outright, because I think the spread was like 1 or 1.5. If you bet real money on the Bengals, I'm talking not the little things like I do where you're just buying free entertainment, but like $100 or whatever, and you lose based on that bonehead decision because they're not in field goal range, right? And now we go to overtime, and it's anybody.
Right.
You lose. I mean, that is why you got to have big cojones to put real money on sports because it's totally out of your hands once the bet has been wagered.
And as a sports bettor, and I had the over in that game, as Casey pointed out, I was kind of rooting for overtime, even though I had the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Because this year, the playoff rule kicked in. It's not like the regular season. It doesn't matter if you score a touchdown on the opening drive, each team gets the ball. So the over was still very much alive. If that game goes into overtime, somebody scores a touchdown, each team gets a field goal, toes are tapping, but that bonehead penalty kept things alive.
What were you guys fighting about over the weekend? I wasn't paying any attention. It was a group text, but I wasn't really reading.
Well, he texted both of us this article that says The Outsiders has the best looking cast in movie history.
Well, it wasn't my theory. There was an article from
Right.
Barstool that said the old, I think it's like 82, 83 movie,
Yeah.
The Outsiders, was the best looking cast in movie history.
Like everybody in the movie collectively, this is the best.
Well, listen to these names. You've got Patrick Swayze, Matt Dillon,
Yeah.
Rob Lowe, Tom Cruise,
Wow.
Ralph Macchio, Emilio Estevez, and C. Thomas Howell. Yeah, it's a good-looking cast.
That's a pretty strong line.
Estevez is definitely the low man on the totem pole there, right?
And this was Tom Cruise before he had his teeth fixed.
I know.
So
And
he
he's
still
got
had
his
like a
fake
little
tattoo
split in his
even.
teeth. And yeah, like Tom Cruise in that cast was one of the uglier ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
it
look
got
how
us
cute
thinking,
Rob Lowe
like,
is.
what are some other movies that could at least make an argument,
Sure.
right? So I'm coming at you with Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
You've got George Clooney, you've got prime Brad Pitt, you've got Matt Damon, you've got Casey Affleck, you've got Julia Roberts, you've got Andy Garcia, you've got Scott Conn.
A lot of dudes.
Listen, those are good-looking guys.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, George Clooney is one of those guys, like, and my wife will admit this, he gets better as he gets older.
Age in reverse guy.
Yeah.
Like, Ocean's 11, George Clooney, better than like Roseanne, Facts of Life.
Yeah, he
George
was also
Clooney.
on ER.
That's because he's got more money now. He can make himself beautiful.
What about Fast Times at Ridgemont High? Look, I know Forrest Whitaker and Judge Reinhold are not overly attractive people, but Sean Penn was a pretty fit guy then, and you had Jennifer Jason Leigh and Phoebe Cates in the same movie.
Yes, you're right, but I hear 3 names there, not the 5 or 6 that the other ones.
Yeah, but you got
off.
dudes. I got women.
Okay,
You got dudes.
And I said smaller cast, but for women, there's a movie called The Other Woman, and that had Cameron Diaz, Leslie Mann, and Kate Upton in it.
Again, it's just 3. It's not 5 or 6, and I think Leslie Mann is the outlier there. I'm not into Leslie Mann as much as the other 2, right? I don't know. Like the American Pie movies could make a claim.
That's a good point.
Like, and again, I'm not saying they all went on to be mega stars.
Yeah.
But if you look at that first movie, it's a good-looking group of 20-somethings.
So just superficially, we're talking strictly looks.
Right.
Okay, well, I think I've got the winner.
Oh.
Avengers Endgame. It has Robert Downey Jr., Chris Pratt, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Scarlett Johansson, Jeremy Renner, who's, Paul Rudd, Chadwick Boseman, Tom Holland, Brie Larson, Evangelina Lilly, Elizabeth Olsen, Gwyneth Paltrow, even had Robert Redford in it.
That's a strong lineup. That's a strong lineup.
That's a lot of good-looking people in one movie. Now, I know it was the grand finale of the Avengers movies, so
right.
For now.
They're all making an appearance.
Gee, we need to make another $1 billion.
Yeah.
But the last one was supposed to be the end. Bah, they'll never notice.
It's like Garth Brooks on his farewell tours. This is the last time you're ever going to see me. 5 years later. Guess who's back, baby?
What's coming up this afternoon?
Monday Gun Day. Guy Relford will join us, and we'll also really get into that police video from Memphis.
All right, thanks, Hammer. It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Yeah, winter is here. How'd you like driving around on that snowstorm a couple of weeks ago? I didn't like it at all. I don't want to be stuck out in the snow, changing a flat tire, cars zooming by me on the interstate, or maybe even changing a dead battery in the cold. It's why I'm a AAA member. Flat tire, dead battery, run out of gas, lock your keys in your car. I've done it all. AAA is there for me 24/7, 365. Winter does not care where you need to be, but my friends at AAA do. So do yourself a favor. Join AAA today. It's really easy to become a member. It's quick to become a member. I've been a member for years.
Get your AAA membership right now at AAA.com or call 844-GO-AAA-GO. Or you could also stop by your local AAA office. Don't forget, ask about complimentary travel planning and insurance rates, auto, home, and life, because you don't have to be stuck on the side of the road to get assistance from AAA.
It's Jesse Kelly here. I can't afford to lose 30% of my 401k or IRA again, and I'm assuming you can't either. Call Oxford Gold. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver is a portfolio protection plan, and Oxford Gold has made it easy as 1, 2, 3. One app, one call, and you pick your precious metals. That's it. You now own precious metals. Call Oxford Gold today to learn more about the 1, 2, 3 protection plan. 833-404-GOLD. 833-404-GOLD.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Mike Capel here, serial entrepreneur. While starting my first of 5 successful businesses, I foolishly did my own accounting. I stuck the more difficult tax forms in a drawer for later, which caused the tax man to cometh. That little mistake took an entire team of accountants weeks to prevent the tax man from clubbing me. Moral of this story? Use Patriot's accounting software because it's easy, and tell your accountant to use the same accountant you use. Then, if the tax man cometh, you'll be the one holding the club. Go to PatriotSoftware.com. Use promo code RADIO and get 2 months of accounting software free. That's PatriotSoftware.com.
PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Discover how to save more of your hard-earned money. Listen to WIBC this Saturday from 5 to 6 a.m. for secure retirement tips from Crown Haven Wealth Advisors. This Saturday, 5 to 6 a.m. on WIBC.
Don't trust your home improvement projects to out-of-state franchise companies. Stay local and buy local with B Window, family owned for 40 years.
Trust me.
Coming up in 2 minutes, what's causing your property taxes to increase? One person believes he has the answer, and why you might see the ACLU of Indiana if you're driving by the State House. Those stories and more from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock. We join Fox News in progress.
Elementary in Newport News, Virginia, with enhanced security. For the first time since 24 days ago, when
a 6-year-old shot and wounded teacher Abigail Zwerner, allegedly with his mother's handgun. That investigation continues, and the teacher is recovering now at home. Both the principal and the assistant principal have now left the school, and the school board last week fired the superintendent.
Fox's Evan Brown. Zwerner is suing the school district, claiming administrators were warned a few times the boy had a gun in his backpack that day, but did nothing. The district attorney in Memphis says more charges could be coming in the police beating of Tyree Nichols, who died 3 days later. 5 officers seen on video battering him are charged with murder.
You also see in the video other officers show up on scene and just stand around as a bloodied Nichols is left to wait more than 20 minutes for medical attention. We know at least 2 Memphis Fire Department employees and 2 Shelby County Sheriff's deputies have been relieved of their duties pending an internal investigation.
Fox's Charles Watson in Memphis. There are also renewed calls for Congress to pass police reform. A Taliban commander in Pakistan is taking credit for an attack on a mosque in Peshawar, where a suicide bomber blew himself up among the worshipers, killing at least 47, wounding 150 more. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken is in Israel for talks days after deadly attacks in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. Tomorrow he'll meet with Palestinians. Republicans in Congress have a lot of questions for the TikTok CEO, scheduling a House hearing in March.
Lawmakers could focus on a number of concerns related to the social media company, including allegations of sharing data with China. Members could also question the company's ability to stop accounts trading child pornography. A bipartisan letter sent by members in December demanded a hearing with the platform on the issue. Congress recently passed a ban of TikTok on all federal government phones.
That's Ryan Schmelz. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Why property price tags continue to increase. Light snow falling over central Indiana, 30 degrees right now with a low of 14 tonight. I'm Donnie Burgess. Here's what's trending at 11:02. You may have noticed how much more in property taxes you're paying.
Residential values increased by 16.5% on average across the state, and agriculture property values increased by 15.9%.
David Bodorf with the Association of Indiana Counties. He says they ran the numbers and said the reason you're paying more is due to low interest rates and high home prices in 2021. Those high home prices are what assessments are based on. Rain and snow mostly move away from Indiana this week, but there will be slick spots left over with ice on bridges and overpasses.
And that can be particularly tricky, especially before the sun has come up, because it may be very difficult to see that ice.
Meteorologist Jason Puma says driving slow and taking your time is the best way to handle rough roads. The ACLU of Indiana is hosting the 4th LGBTQ Day at the State House from 10 to 2 to protest against bills that they say challenge the rights of LGBTQ people in the state. Chris Paulson, CEO of Indiana Youth Group, explains to Wish TV why the event is important to them.
We need to support kids, and these bills, this slate of hate is not supporting kids, and we need to let all youth know that they are loved and supported in Indiana.
A guilty verdict for a woman accused of shooting at a worker at an apartment building in Lafayette. Kurt Darling has that story.
Antoinette Green was convicted of all of the counts that she was charged with in the shooting. No one was killed in the incident last August. The shooting happened at the Springs Gardens apartments where she used to live. Green was arrested in Gary and brought back to Lafayette last year to stand trial. She could get anywhere from 25 to 60 years when she returns to the courtroom for sentencing. Kirk Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Ascension St. Vincent is closing nearly a dozen more locations around the state. The hospital system saying the pandemic took an operational toll and it will be discontinuing operations in places like Greenwood, Carmel, Avon, and Plainfield. I'm Donnie Burgess on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
As a Shane Company jewelry consultant, I get to work with couples looking for their dream engagement ring. Many feel overwhelmed. They just don't know where to start. And that's what I love about my job. I get to make this important experience fun and easy. We don't work on commission, so there's no pressure. When you visit, first, I'll want to know, what are your ideas for your dream ring? What fits your lifestyle, your personality, your budget? Then we'll go from there. We'll look at ring settings and I'll show you options for the center stone. For example, if you choose a classic solitaire ring setting, I can show you how it'll look with different center stones, like a pear-shaped diamond or an oval pink sapphire. We have all shapes, colors, and sizes. If you're going for a big look with lots of sparkle, I can show you our halo ring settings. Or, if you want a ring that's ready to go, we can look at our perfectly preset styles. Visit your friends. We're in this together.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Monday, January 30th. It is 6 minutes after 11. His name is Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels, and this is 93 WIBC. Thank you for listening this morning. So over the weekend, Senator Ted Cruz sounded off about an email that Hunter Biden sent to a Burisma colleague. In it, he alleged the correspondence indicates that Hunter Biden definitely had access to classified materials, because he's talking about this email that was from 2014, and Hunter Biden sent the correspondence to this board member of Burisma. And Ted Cruz said Hunter Biden didn't write that. He's not an expert on Ukraine. He's not an expert on Eastern Europe. He's not an expert on Russia. But that email did help him get on the board of Burisma. It did help him get an $83,000 a year, or rather a month job. And it showed a level of expertise that is no way could have come from Hunter. But Hunter got it from somewhere.
Wait. Are you saying that there is an allegation that Hunter Biden is a wholly unqualified goof who was getting positions based on who his dad was and the access to his dad, who was a very powerful person?
Yeah. And well, I mean, we've even seen that interview where Hunter Biden said having the last name Biden helped him get these jobs. There's also this former advisor to Bill Clinton that says this is going to be the absolute end for Joe Biden.
Well, it'll be interesting. So Trump was
piled on.
Yeah, he was in New Hampshire, and he, he's never afraid to provide some commentary. Take a listen.
We have a president whose son's laptop from hell gets taken over and exposes massive corruption like nobody's ever seen before. You think the father, do you ever hear this? Do you think the father was upset? Dad, I left my laptop in a repair shop, forgot to pick it up, and this repair guy went a little crazy when he saw what was on it. What's on it, son? Every crime that you've ever committed, Pa.
So this is Trump pretty much on his first real campaign swing, right, of the 24 election.
Yeah, he hit South Carolina and New Hampshire. We'll get to South Carolina here in just a second, but also in New Hampshire. And it's doing the Trump thing where he's saying completely ridiculous stuff, but it's kind of entertaining because it's Trump. He claimed, Casey, in New Hampshire, he could solve the Ukraine-Russia deal in 24 hours.
Yeah.
We will keep America out of foolish foreign wars, just as I did as commander-in-chief, and I will restore it's called peace through strength. By the way, everyone thought when I ran, they said, this guy's going to be in world, remember Crooked Hillary? He's going to cause a war in his first week in office, because they think that's my personality type. It's actually the opposite. My personality kept us out of war. And I told you before, it would have never happened with Russia, would have never gone in, Putin would have never, ever gone in. And even now, I could solve that in 24 hours. It's so horrible what happened. Those cities are demolished now. The people, I'll bet you have millions. It could be millions of people. How can you, they bomb a city to the ground. These big buildings come tumbling down. They say 2 people were injured. Not 2 people. They lie. They lie. But if I were president, you would have zero chance that war would have happened. And even now, as bad as it is, should have never, ever happened. I mean, the country, how does it ever rebuild those cities, those magnificent buildings that came down that are 1,000 years old with the gold domes? You can't do that. But it would have just so sad to see that a deal would have been made very quickly. I'm not even sure a deal would have had to be made. I don't think he would have never done it. And let's see what happens with China and Taiwan.
So that's Trump saying that he could stop the war with Russia and Ukraine. He also said that he could stop World War III. And this all happened at a New Hampshire event, which was timed to happen the same time the state party was having their annual meeting. It was held in a high school auditorium. About 400 people were in attendance, and it was an hour long. And he was obviously recalling some of his successes when he was president, from cracking down on illegal immigration to stopping the spread of ISIS and also launching the Space Force. But he got his biggest round of applause happened about 45 minutes into the speech when he introduced a new proposal, which was to crack down on critical race theory. And of course, then he also said he could end the war.
Well, and I think that's one of the more underappreciated parts of Trump's 4 years was how much success he had in terms of foreign policy and America's position in the world, and obviously the deals in the Middle East. And he got closer with Kim Jong-un than anybody else had gotten. There's no doubt pre-COVID. Now, that COVID stuff went totally off the rails, and the amount of money Trump approved of spending during COVID is indefensible. Trump's adamancy about adamancy, is that even a word?
Adamant.
Trump being so adamant. You too can be a broadcaster, kids. Trump being so adamant about the vaccine and going all in on that was completely ridiculous. But pre-COVID, America's position in the world was really, really strong. And he is right that his foreign policy is something that doesn't get talked a lot about, but should, because he was very successful. Now, he also went to South Carolina. And
did you see the video going around, the viral video of him? He was in the fast food joint.
No.
And the woman said, "Can I pray for you?"
Oh, that's great.
I mean, he was trying to talk about the menu items, and she was like, no, stop. Can I pray for you? And he was like, well, sure.
Did he ask her to go to 2 Corinthians again?
No. She just started praying. And the weird thing about it was she was praying for Trump, and he had his hand on her shoulder while she's praying for him. But at the same time, she's got her cell phone out, right in his face.
So she's filming him praying while she's praying for him?
Yeah.
That's an odd one.
Yeah.
Lindsey Graham. So again, I mean, here's the thing with Trump. He has aligned himself with a lot of super establishment-y people. I mean, he was all in for Kevin McCarthy. He was all in for Ronna McDaniel. And we're about to play a clip of Lindsey Graham. Can't say enough nice things about the guy. For the dude who's supposed to be anti-establishment, drain the swamp, blah, 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 it sure seems like a lot of these swamp people really love Trump or vice versa.
Well, he took some criticism for having Lindsey Graham there, but then Lindsey Graham stood up and was just all gushing over Trump, so it worked out for him.
Lindsey Graham is about one of the last people I would want saying really nice things about me, because other than when he got Johnny Tough Guy during the Kavanaugh hearing, Lindsey Graham is usually not aligned with where a lot of the conservative and liberty and freedom-loving people in this country are. But here's Lindsey Graham. He loves Trump.
How many times have you heard, we like Trump policies, but we want somebody new? There are no Trump policies without Donald Trump. I was there. You know why $400 billion was given by NATO nations? Because he asked and they were afraid to say no. Every president since I've been up there has asked NATO to give more money, but they gave more money when he asked. People talk about China. You did something about China. They finally paid. Everybody's been talking about China. You made them pay. You know why Mexico said yes to you? Because you scared the hell out of them by taking on China. You know why the Abraham Accords came about? It's because you convinced the Arabs and the Israelis you were strong and you're reliable. You killed the terrorist that needed to be killed. You convinced the Arabs to work with the Israelis, and the world is a better place. We live in a dangerous world right now. The good news for the Republican Party, there are many, many talented people for years to come, but there is only one Donald Trump. And I say this sincerely. You can talk about his policies, but you could not do what he did.
So let's talk about some polling quickly. There's that University of New Hampshire poll, and that said that 46% of Republicans want Trump to run again. 50% thought he should not run. There was this coefficient survey conducted by the New Hampshire Journal, and they said that Trump is up 11 points over DeSantis. And then Reuters did this really small survey. It looks like they only asked about 10 people, but out of the 10, only 3 said that they would support another Trump presidency.
And Lindsey Graham, what he said is not necessarily wrong, but the reality is that part of having a dynamic personality is you've got to be able to know when to turn it on and when to turn it off, and when to have some self-control. So when we talk about, yes, Trump did those things and they are good, and Trump was the right guy at the right time to get those things done. But Trump had zero ability to recognize what room he was in and what personality or tone or whatever you want to call it he needed to display. So when we talk about Trump cannot be the nominee because he cannot be reelected or elected or whatever you want to call it because of his personality, what we're talking about is the needless alienation and the needless or the surprising unwillingness to recognize what he needed to be when he needed to be it. Let's face it, that first debate with Biden, Trump was a psycho. I mean, like talking over everybody, basically almost shouting at people. I mean, that's a total turnoff. And let's face it, all the stuff on Twitter, needless, didn't win him one vote. The Mika Baczynski or whatever her name is, bleeding badly from a facelift, Stormy Daniels, horse face. Those things did not help him with the people he needed to be helped with.
It's not presidential.
No,
that's why you expect a certain amount of professionalism or decorum from your president.
And the reality of it is, and people get mad at me for saying this, but this is my job, is to tell you what the reality is. And the reality of it is, whether you like it or you don't, a huge swath of people, clearly, they elected hi, good night, everybody, vote on their feels rather than the reality.
What do you think about Marjorie Taylor Greene saying VP for Trump?
Well, based on Trump's oftentimes questionable decision-making process, she's probably right in the mix. Now, speaking of questionable decision-making process.
Yeah.
Casey, you did something on the way to work today that I would like to discuss.
Okay.
And I saw someone do something.
It's actually something I didn't do on the way to work today that I should have done.
And there's something that I saw over the weekend when it comes to questionable decision making that I would like to discuss.
You're going to put us in the same category. You're going to put me
no, I'm not going to put you
in the same category with this guy?
No, one of you it was really stupid, and yours, well, it's just questionable.
Okay. It's coming up. It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Winter. In its simplicity, there is beauty. Until it hits you in the face. Whatever winter throws at us.
Bomb cyclone?
Heavy snow and freezing rain.
Really rough driving conditions.
Be prepared with your severe winter weather station.
Snow is going to arrive somewhere.
The forecast. Mornings, afternoons, on your smartphone and on Alexa.
It's going to get brutal out there.
And always on 93 WIBC.
Hi, this is Denny Smith. Over 17 years ago, I was aging in a way that was starting to scare me. I was eating too much and exercising too little, and I just didn't have time to commit to 3 hours a week in the gym. I'd heard about Exercise Inc. and their 20-minute-a-week workouts, but I just didn't believe it was possible to do any good. I was wrong, and I'm living proof. I used to be flabby and out of shape, but I'm not anymore because this regimen works. It's individualized and it's direct, and by golly, it feels great not to be aging the way I see others aging. I really am in the best shape of my life. My weight is under control. I feel strong and I feel healthy. And listen, this is no kidding. It is hard work, but it's only 20 minutes a week. 17 years and counting, and you can do this too. And more importantly, you should do this. Pick up the phone and make the call for the free evaluation. 317-750-2219 4 locations, Avon, Brownsburg, Greenwood, Zionsville, and coming soon in May to Fishers too. 317-750-2219 or go to exerciseinc.com.
It's game day at Jim's house, and the spread is impressive.
Mike's already done some damage with the hot wings, and now he's dropping back and going deep for another slice of pizza.
I sure hope he brought the Pepto.
Mike knows the Pepto-Bismol provides fast 5-symptom relief from unexpected stomach upsets. He's no rookie.
The way he's throwing back those nachos, he's the GOAT.
Be ready for game day with Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Planning for retirement all comes down to what matters most for you. Is it a vacation home? Is it traveling the globe? You could call the team at Howard Bailey Financial to help you plan for your retirement and to help you have a successful and fulfilling retirement. Great things in business are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people, and I'm excited to share that Singer Financial is now Howard Bailey Financial, an Indiana-based retirement planning firm.
The Howard Bailey team possesses credibility at both an ethical and professional standpoint. They will deliver you a customized framework that allows you to create the meaning of retirement. Whatever you visualize retirement to be, let the Howard Bailey team customize a plan specifically for you. If you're ready for your best retirement, come forward and see the Howard Bailey difference.
Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Working with Howard Bailey Securities, LLC cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
Don't trust your home improvement projects to out-of-state franchise companies. Stay local and buy local with B-Window, family-owned for 40 years.
Trust me.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Mr. Bellin, will you take the ceremonial shovel?
Thank you.
And dig into the symbolic dirt.
I hereby dedicate this building to myself.
Let's go down.
That's good stuff.
22 minutes after 11, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And trending this hour, McDonald's. They have a new dining rule at some locations after 5 p.m. They're going to start playing classical music by Beethoven after 5. This is an effort to stop loiterers and fights from breaking out in the fast food restaurant.
What?
Because Beethoven chills you out, I guess.
Oh, I guess. Okay, thank you.
Also trending is Priscilla Presley. She has filed an objection to Lisa Marie's will. She expressed concern about a 2016 amendment. She said that the singer's daughter, Riley Kehoe, is a co-trustee, but she's not sure if the signature is genuine.
Of course.
Yeah. And finally trending, Damar Hamlin, he released a video. He put it up on Instagram. It has over 500,000 likes. And he was near tears in the video where he was thanking fans for their support.
Now that my brothers has closed out a strong winning season, as I continue to make so much progress recovering, I think it's finally a good time to share a few things. I think it was important for me to wait and speak publicly at the right time, as it was just a lot to process within my own self, mentally, physically, even spiritually. It's just been a lot to process, but I can't tell you how appreciative I am of all the love, all the support, and everything that's just been coming in my way.
So that should put those rumors that he's passed away to bed.
Sure.
Because there's a video of him.
Yes, it was a
highly edited, doctored video, but it's there.
The video was very interesting. I am not a person who believes that he is dead, but I will say, knowing that there is a large group of people who believe the man is dead, that was an odd way to try to prove he was still alive.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to ask you something.
What?
About your behavior this morning. So as many people who were forced to venture out, by the way, I'm considering taking a box home with me for tomorrow. It's really snowing outside. So.
Oh, okay. A box, meaning a remote broadcast equipment.
I can go from my home.
I thought you meant like a cardboard box.
Well,
like, what are you going to sled or something?
I will eventually leave with a box with all my stuff in it.
Okay.
You want me to pick you up if the roads are too bad? I can swing by the west side.
This
it's
too.
right on your way.
I've offered this too. He turned me down.
So I went out today and braved the roads. It was not an easy drive in today. Luckily, I'm
it was a little slower
knock
than
on wood.
normal.
I'm a fabulous driver and was able to, get here in a timely fashion and prepare for the show. You, however, made the decision to venture out, and I cannot believe you did this given the weather and the possibility that you might meet a traffic jam of some sort, given the propensity in this sort of weather for accidents, slow travel, closed lanes, whatever.
Yeah, I did get honked at, too, on my way in today.
What'd you do?
I was just trying to get over into another lane, and they weren't letting me in. I had my blinker on.
Woman driver thing.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, did I set that out loud? I'm sorry. I think women are great drivers. You left the house with the empty light on.
Yeah.
And
it's been like that for a few days,
And
too.
I know your route to work.
Yeah.
You passed numerous gas stations, and yet you refused to pull over to purchase gasoline.
Yeah.
Why?
You know what? I just wanted to roll the dice. I wanted to gamble a little bit on my way in this morning, see if I could actually make it here. Yeah.
Was this like some sort of thrill seeker thing?
No.
Because you need gas. You know the car is almost out of gas.
I need gas so bad in my car right now.
Do you have any idea how close you were? Like, does your car, like the modern cars, like my car will tell me till about 30 miles and then it just starts blinking.
Yeah.
But when like the modern cars, they will tell you, hey, you've got 20 miles left or you got 15 miles. No, you have no idea.
No warning.
Your car may not start.
But let me just tell you, it is well beyond the E marker.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, you know how you get the markers? You got the quarter of the tank left, and then you've got the marker right there by the E. I mean, it is well beyond the E. So, yeah, I completely rolled the dice. Well, I was already running late this morning, and I got in the car, and oh, crap, I need gas. Well, let's just see how it goes, because it was snowing and it was
What if you
cold.
had run out of gas?
I would have called you and said, dude.
Oh, so then it becomes my problem.
Yeah.
Because you're irresponsible, it becomes my problem.
Yeah, because
well,
I
that's
was
the
out
way
of
it works in this country now.
I was out of gas all weekend too, and I
what do you mean? You were driving around all on the E?
I know. I was. It was totally irresponsible of
You're
me.
one of those thrill seeker people who gets a high off.
You know what? I was more
thought
worried
of
about just
terrible
getting
things.
in here at a good time because, like I mentioned, I was already running late and it was snowing, so traveling in was slow going. And I didn't have time. I didn't have time to stop, Rob. I just had to go for it.
So will you?
I made it here, didn't I?
Will you get gas on your way home?
Absolutely, I have to. I have to. Like, it's going to be close call to get to the gas station. I'm going to be one of those people pushing my car.
Now, I get gas near your residence, and I've said many times I would not do that if the sun were not out. Because while the neighborhood in which you live is quite nice, the areas around it are not great, but they do offer very cheap gasoline compared to other gas stations.
Yeah.
I love that your daughter, you told me, has caught on to that.
Yeah.
And there is a gas station down the street.
But she goes to the one where I'd have to go the opposite direction and then turn around to come into work.
But she has caught on that the general vicinity in which you live is so dangerous that she has caught the gas station that is in the middle of nowhere where it would take the undesirables in question a much longer hike to get to the gas station to cause havoc.
Well, no, she doesn't even go there that much anymore because she knows to fill up before she comes home because she knows it can be it could be a dangerous neighborhood. So yeah, I knew I needed gas all weekend and I just kept forgetting. And then this morning I was running late and I forgot to get gas again.
Well,
and I cannot forget today.
I'm not picking you up. If Kevin wants to feel bad and condone and excuse your terrible behavior and he wants to help you, that's fine. I hope you make it to the nearest gas station.
I will. I'll make it today.
Okay, when we come back, the other thing I wanted to get to, and we just ran out of time in this segment, I saw someone do something over the weekend, and I saw it with my own eyes.
And it was on the On Patrol Live show.
It was on Patrol Live. The guy was in Beech Grove.
Yeah.
He did something that I can't believe it was a thing.
Okay.
And so I want to discuss it with you and see if you've ever been close to this thing.
Okay. It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
It's February at Peterman Brothers.
That means when you install a new qualifying high-efficiency AC unit, we'll include the furnace for free.
And we'll install it next day, guaranteed, or we'll give you $500.
Take advantage of this incredible savings for a limited time.
Visit yourfreefurnace.com to schedule your free furnace installation today. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Peterman Brothers, where great service runs in the family.
Well-changing question. Are you keeping as much of your investment gains as possible? High taxes can erode returns quickly, so you need a tax-optimized portfolio. At Creative Planning, our money managers and specialists work together to make sure your portfolio and wealth are managed in a tax-efficient manner. It's what you keep that really matters. Why not give your wealth a second look? Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
Why does We Grow Hair Indy have the best hair transplant results? Because they have the best technology. And I'm living proof of it. This is Rob. I'm out and about in the community for this radio station, and I feel so much better because We Grow Hair Indy has the technology that restored both my hairline and my crown area. And this year, they can restore yours too. Call them right now at 317-522-2995. Here's Darren Andrews to explain.
Having that strong hairline again completely changes the way you see yourself. It makes a huge difference. A lot of people think the crown cannot be transplanted. It's actually an area of specialty for us with our multi-unit hair grafting.
My hair is going to grow the rest of my life. I'm very happy I called We Grow Hair Indy. Call right now for your free evaluation. 317-522-2995. That's 317-522-2995. WeGrowHairIndy.com, the gold standard in hair restoration.
My dad has a cold, but also has high blood pressure. That's why I got him Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure for fast, powerful nighttime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. NyQuil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decongestant-free.
Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold, and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
Medicine. Use as directed.
Whether it's sweets for your sweetheart or exchange kits for the classroom, Family Dollar's got you covered this Valentine's Day. It shouldn't cost much to say I love you. Family Dollar has Hallmark Sentimental Studios greeting cards starting at just 50 cents each. Then find more ways to show how you feel with Valentine's gifts. From balloons starting at $1 to $3 stuffed animals to select boxes of chocolates at just $2 for $10. Family Dollar, helping you do more.
Mark Dietel is the only real estate agent I'd trust to sell my home. How about Judy in Greenfield? She was moving out of town, had a problem. She needed to sell her house fast. And she also needed all the equity for her new place. So she needed a great price and needed it quick. She heard about Mark Dietel on our show, and his team went above and beyond to market Judy's home like crazy. Home sold in 9 days at list price.
The best in the business is Mark Dietel. Why? Because he offers you the guarantee. Mark Dietel guarantees an offer in 3 days at full market value, or he will list it for free. That is the Mark Dietel guarantee. Call him right now, 317-755-4232, or go online to markdietel.com. That's Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietel.com. Tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It's more dangerous than it seems. Light snow falling over central Indiana, 30 degrees right now with a low of 14 tonight. I'm Donnie Burgess. Here's what's trending at 11:30. If you're on the road, take it easy on those slick spots.
There is a winter weather advisory in effect until 12 noon today.
Meteorologist Jason Puma says a small winter weather system is passing over Indiana. Bridges and overpasses may have a few patches of ice. Take it slow and give yourself plenty of time on the road. A woman in Lafayette is going to prison for a shooting at an apartment complex last year.
It was last August when Antoinette Green was said to have shot at a worker at an apartment complex where she used to live. The worker survived the shooting, and Green fled to Gary, where she was soon caught and brought back to stand trial. She did so and was found guilty of attempted murder, among other things. Green could get up to 60 years when she returns for sentencing. Kirk Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is 11:34. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So you were watching On Patrol Live over the weekend, huh?
Yeah. I used to be a pretty adventurous person, Casey, but now my weekends generally consist of watching On Patrol Live on the Reels
Watch other
Network.
People's stupid mistakes. Yeah.
And very pleased to say I've never been in a police custody of any sort. And one of the police departments that is on Patrol Live is Beech Grove. We talked about that many times.
Mm-hmm.
And so late Saturday, I think it was late Saturday, they pulled a guy over in Beech Grove for suspected DUI.
Yeah.
And this dude is like talking gibberish. He's, sounds like Boom Hour off of King of the Hill.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this guy is, but sometimes you just don't know. Like some people are just a little different.
Yeah.
And so you don't know. So the cop's suspecting a DUI. So he gets him to do the breathalyzer. And he starts it. It is clearly eclipsed. They've got the camera over the cop's shoulder so you can see the thing counting. So he does it once. It's clearly eclipsed the 0.08. And so he shuts it off, does it again, which I don't know if that's standard thing to say, hey, we're going to do it twice just to make sure we make a mistake.
Right.
This time he keeps letting it go. And so it gets to 1, keeps going.
Wow.
Gets to 0.11, keeps going. 2, keeps going. I mean, the camera's on this thing as it's moving. Gets to 0.18, keeps going.
Wow.
Finally, I believe it stopped, or he stopped it at least, at 0.191.
Yeah.
So if 0.08 is the legal limit, that is 2.5 times the legal limit.
I wonder what he was drinking and for how long.
Quite a bit.
Yeah. All of it.
Hammer texted me that the guy was probably pretty broken up about the bowling team not making it to the state finals. So it's probably taking it out.
Right. That's
there.
why.
But so I was wondering, I mean, because this guy was clearly pretty messed up.
Mm-hmm.
2.5 times seems like a lot of alcohol.
Yeah.
However, I don't know about Kevin. You can weigh in on this too. I've never actually taken a breathalyzer, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how messed up 2.5 times would be.
Probably pretty messed up. I've never taken a breathalyzer either.
Kevin, you're the most likely one here to have had to take a breathalyzer.
Never.
I've never had to. So.
Okay.
Because when I have a libation or two,
yeah,
I park it.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting behind a wheel.
Yeah.
Like I'm only going to have a cocktail or multiple if I know that I'm going to stay put.
Okay, so
that's it.
What do you think you would have blown on the drunkest you have ever been? I saw Nigel out in the hall. I bet he could answer this question better.
He knows exactly.
Yeah, Nigel's an
this
expert.
one time back in 1989.
Nigel, if you can hear us come back, I feel like this segment would be perfect for you.
Oh,
here he comes.
He's like, you need me?
Yes, we need you for this. You would be perfect.
What I miss?
Okay, so on Patrol Live, the Beech Grove PD pulled a guy over. He blew a .191, which is 2.5 times the legal limit.
Yeah, that's big. That's a big number.
So we were trying to figure out what we would have blown at the drunkest we've ever been. Have you ever taken a breathalyzer?
I've never taken a breathalyzer. Well, actually, what day is this? Hold on. No, I haven't taken a breathalyzer.
So we were trying to figure out what we would have blown at the drunkest we've ever been. You would have guessed. I mean, I'm gonna, and I mean this as a compliment. You've probably been the drunkest of anyone in this room. What do you have any idea what you might?
In my 20s, probably 0.2 something.
Yeah.
Probably nothing above that. I mean, you get up to 0.3, you can't.
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
Alive.
Like, is 2 really, really bad?
Really,
obviously, it is to operate a vehicle, but like, is it really bad? Like, as an individual?
0.08, you can't drive a vehicle.
Right.
So to be. What did you say it got?
.191.
Man, I wish I had. I don't have reels. I don't have the TV show.
Oh, it's
I
great.
don't have the channel reels.
You got to have it.
I've got MetroNet, and they don't offer it.
That's why you never can participate with us in our group chat.
Why don't you just leave me off of it?
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave the conversation.
Here's what you need to do for the show, and I think it would be good for your show.
He's opting out.
Get a breathalyzer, and then one weekend, just test yourself, and then see what it is.
You think my wife might wonder, like when the Amazon guy drops the box off at my porch and she opens it because it's
for fun.
Do you think she might wonder honey? Why did you order a breathalyzer?
It's for work.
It's for work. There we go. That's the answer for everything.
All right, I gotta go.
All right, thanks, Nige. What do you think you would have blown? Like, any idea?
I have no idea. I tend to have few too many on the dude's birthday.
Yeah.
That's, for some reason, it's his birthday, but I'm the one who gets drunk.
He doesn't strike me as a guy who just pounds brewskis. I mean,
no, we don't go as hard as we used to.
So can you
We're mature.
Okay, so follow-up question then.
Yeah.
Kevin, you can weigh in on this too. Do you recall the drunkest you've ever been?
Well, like I mentioned, it always happens to be on his birthday. I will tell you, though, the first time you and I met, I had a fire to put out.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, because I was in Grand Rapids and I drove down here.
Yeah.
And I didn't get down here until late at night. And you didn't send me over the test template for our fake interview until late at night. And then I was all wired and couldn't go to sleep because I was nervous because I had a big interview the next day. And I had...
Is that why you got so angry when I asked you to show me a picture of your daughter?
It's because I was hungover. How you like that, Rob Kendall?
Kevin, at one point in this conversation, because I asked Kevin this off air, and Kevin was like, "Did you ever drink any moonshine in high school?"
So like Everclear, or you mean like a real?
Were
moonshine?
you pounding moon? I mean, or your parents might be listening, but you're adult.
No,
now.
I was an upstanding citizen.
Yeah.
Of course.
When did that
Never
stop?
did anything wrong.
Was it college? Is that when it stopped?
Probably
for you?
when I started working here. I think when you first trained me, I think after that I was like, this is going downhill.
There's
fast.
another world out there, and I need to be a part of it. Being an upstanding person has really robbed me of a whole nother life.
What about you? When's the drunkest you've ever been?
Well, and I'm not.
You never get drunk, probably ever.
I'm much better than I used to be.
Yeah.
But and look, I'm not afraid to admit this.
You've made some mistakes.
Well, I figured out a flaw in the Broad Ripple parking garage system. I think I was candid about this. That if they would allow you to park your car for 12. If you made it to 12 hours but past 6, it was a set rate. So if you knew you could get out of there before a certain time and knew there was no way you were going to get out of there before a certain time, you were stuck on the 12-hour thing. So I'd calculated that if you got there at 9, you had until 9 the next morning, which they closed the bars at 3. So that gave you 6 hours, but then you had 6 hours by which to completely, sober up.
Yeah.
And obviously, again, not proud that I know this, but if you sleep in the back seat and the car is not on, they can't arrest you for anything because you're not doing anything wrong. So I used to be able to do one Long Island an hour for 6 hours.
A pitcher or a glass?
Oh, pitcher.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And there used to be, they claimed, I don't know if it's still true, there were 5 shots per Long Island. So that's 30 shots. So it's a testament that I'm still here.
Yeah. That's your go-to drink, isn't it?
That's all I drink for the most part.
Long Island.
Yeah. That's America's drink.
You don't even really drink beer, do you?
No. And you know how I discovered a Long Island? I was at a bar one time in Broad Ripple, and the bartender accidentally made Long Islands that I guess either no one had ordered or somebody had already been served.
She's going to throw it away?
He was like, "Here, do you want this?" And I was like, "What the hell is that?" And he said, "It's a Long Island." I said, "Well, it's free. I might as well try it." I said, "What is this nectar?"
Nectar of the gods. There we go.
So I don't know. I mean, Nige seems to think that a .191 is pretty messed up.
Yeah. He's our expert.
Yeah.
Let's believe him,
So
shall we?
I don't know. And he says 0.3, you'd be dead. So.
I'll believe him. I think he should get a breathalyzer just for fun. It's for work. That's the excuse that works for everything, right? It's 11:43. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show, 3 to 7 this afternoon. The biggest stories in Indy. We'll have the latest crime numbers, and it's Monday Gun Day, 93 WIBC.
Do you get sinus infections, congestion, sinus pressure and pain, above your eyes, below your eyes, sinus headaches? You've gone to the doctor, you've visited urgent care over and over again, and it's always the same thing. Oh, I know. Let's try antibiotics and nasal sprays. But the sinus infections keep coming back. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of Indianapolis Sinus Center called balloon sinuplasty. Imagine the relief of not having to deal with your sinus infections anymore. Set an appointment today with Indianapolis Sinus Center and find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Call 317-528-9650. 317-528-9650. That's 317-528-9650.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-200-1966. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-200-1966. That's 800-200-1966. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-200-1966. 800-200-1966.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hopefully, you'll never have a house or business fire. But if you do, hopefully, you'll never forget this name, Michaelis. They can be there before that lump in your throat goes away. In fact, they're the reason it goes away. Over 35 years of helping people recover from faulty wiring, lightning strikes, or that unattended pot of pasta on the stove. Michaelis crews often roll in before the fire hoses are rolled up. Their proven process of water extraction, smoke removal, and content storage will calm your nerves. Then their talented craftsmen will rebuild your home and restore your spirits. That starts by being your advocate with the insurance company. You'll find Michaelis doesn't just feel for you, they work for you. Water, storms, fire, and foundations. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
There's a lot of sexy content on the internet. And there's WIBC, full of faces meant for radio. Hammer and Nigel, Kendall and Casey. Okay, Casey could be on TV. Now streaming every day on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/WIBC.
11:48, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So police body camera footage from the attack on Paul Pelosi was released. When was that released? Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the video obtained by NBC at first, and NBC, why did they let that reporter go? It seemed to me that reporter was just saying exactly what happened, what we all saw on the video.
Well, and so we've got the audio here. Kevin, I assume you bleeped this, as I think the Paul Pelosi audio, I think, has a bad word in it. So before we play it, let's make sure Kevin did indeed. I didn't even include that. That's why, because I didn't want to make Kevin bleep it. Okay, perfect.
Wait, so it needed to be?
No,
bleeped?
it didn't need. No.
The audio that we have is of Megyn Kelly.
I forgot. I didn't put that in there because I felt like it would be too hard, and then if it's bleeped, then it might. Anyway, also probably just laziness on my part. Anyway, the audio, the video audio, it appears in the video. Now, I have major questions. He's in his underwear and has a drink in his hand, it appears.
You're talking about Paul Pelosi or David DePape?
Paul Pelosi.
Okay.
He answers the door. He's in his underwear.
Yeah.
And it appears he has a drink in his hand. So I have questions about that. But based on the 911 call that came out, it appears that the 911 operator either wasn't catching on to what he was saying or didn't believe him or I don't know what, because there's like zero sense of urgency from the 911 operator. And then the police, there doesn't seem to be any sense of hustle or urgency based on, hey, the guy said there's an intruder in the home. And so it's very weird that was their approach, if indeed what it appears we saw is indeed what we saw, which is the guy's on video breaking into the house. He clearly has a hammer in his hand.
Yeah, you can see glass shattering.
And so I wonder why the police fought so hard against releasing this information. And again, why did they take so long to respond, and why was there such a, at least it sounded like, a lack of urgency from the 911 operator? And Megyn Kelly, because she is a person of the law, articulated this much better than I just did there as not a person of the law. Take a listen.
Honestly, like the cops and the FBI, their stories did not match. They put out misinformation, which they then immediately had to correct about who opened the door, and there was something in the media about underwear and whatever. So the initial reporting on this was wrong. And the cops were very reluctant to release all this information. As I said, the media had to sue them to make it happen. And now I see why. With all due respect to the San Francisco Police Department, you blew it. You blew it. You knew the guy was in distress. You knew this was a public official, making him more likely to be a target of this kind of attack. And you sauntered up there. You could have saved him. He had not yet been attacked by the time you opened that door. As soon as you saw that guy had his hands on Paul Pelosi and had a hammer there, you should have been all over him.
Okay, so Paul Pelosi is not a public official. He's married to a public official.
Right.
But she's right, because when they get there, they say, what's going on? And DePape says, everything's good. And then they shine the light and realize he's holding the hammer.
Right.
And they say, put the hammer down. And he just says, nope.
I think
just attacks Paul Pelosi.
I think there also is a big question about if indeed it was so easy for this guy to break into this house. Why is the house where the Speaker of the House of Representatives at, why is it so easy to get access to? I mean, where was the security of any sort? I mean, it didn't appear. So I mean, there's still a whole bunch of unanswered questions. But again, government fed it, right? Government fed the rabbit hole conspiracy theorists by being ridiculous in terms of denying transparency on the topic at hand.
Do you think that maybe that's why the police didn't want the video released? Of how poorly they performed?
It could be, but then also, again, why was there not a greater sense of urgency from the 911 operator or the police themselves? And again, why is it so easy to get into a house of the Speaker of the House of Representatives?
So Paul Pelosi suffered a fractured skull and injuries to both his arms and his hands. Nancy Pelosi said that she hasn't listened to the audio recordings and she hasn't seen the video, which we're referencing, nor does she have any idea that she wants to watch it. She's not going to. But this guy who attacked Paul Pelosi, apparently not showing any remorse. He called a San Francisco reporter on Friday.
Was that definitely him? See, I always think with these things, like,
Is it what a fake?
Well, that you just wonder. Like, remember, wasn't it Howard Stern used to have people do that all the time? You just wonder. I mean,
Bubba Booey
I just
whatever.
just wondered, had that been validated that indeed that was him? I guess it has.
I mean, it's being reported anyway. Maybe that's what I should say, that he called. Allegedly, he called a San Francisco reporter, said he gathered names and addresses of people that he believed were systematically and deliberately destroying America's freedom, and that Nancy Pelosi was just the leader of the pack. Clearly, he's not in his right mind.
Well, and this guy's track record is a radical leftist, right?
Well, but that's not what we were initially told, though.
Well, this is my question. Again, there is a complete lack of transparency, and it's what happens all the time where government needlessly withholds information from people, needlessly makes it hard to get information. Look, he is a public figure, right? By some sense, he is married to the Speaker of the House of Representatives, or she was the Speaker of the House of Representatives. It is a newsworthy item that the public has an understandable interest in and has the right to know about, because you don't know, is this guy acting on behalf of a foreign menace of some sort or whatever? And the fact that it took all this time to get it, it would lead people to go, wow, it would have seemed something is afoot here, because it took so long to get it, which you do at least give credit. In Memphis, they put that stuff out right away and said, look, here's the good, the bad, the ugly. Obviously, there's no good in it, but here is everything, and that's what I meant by that. Is here's everything, and even though it's going to be bad on us, we're going to be transparent and put that out for you for people to consume the information.
Well, that's going to put a lid on it for today. Rob, thank you. Kevin, thank you, and good job. And thank you for listening today. We're going to count on you to be back here tomorrow. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Does runaway inflation and reckless spending in Washington have you worried about the security of your hard-earned retirement savings? If so, it's time to call the precious metals experts at Fisher Capital. Fisher Capital specializes in helping investors like you diversify their retirement portfolio and preserve wealth with physical gold and silver. Whether you're looking to acquire coins or bars, open a gold IRA, or just want to learn more about the advantages of owning precious metals, Fisher Capital will equip you with the knowledge to make an informed decision